sports station.
Driven by our D&M Leasing Studios. Thanks for turning it on, leaving it on. 105.3 The Fan.
Woo! Good Sunday morning. Chris Arnold here on 105.3 The Fan. It's a Sunday, Sports Sunday. No Cowboys, but the NFL is in full effect. We're going to talk about everything that's going on in the world of sports, including football, baseball, basketball, hockey, golf, track, tennis, archery, rodeo, auto racing, horse racing, movie watching, and barbecue, because movie watching is a sport and barbecue is too. The holidays roll on. Do you realize that New Year's Eve is Wednesday? New Year's Day is Thursday. And here in Dallas-Fort Worth, in North Texas, the temperature will be 80 degrees. 877-881-1053. Let us know what you got going on a Sunday in between the two big holidays, Christmas Day and New Year's Day and New Year's Eve for those who party. Let us know what you got going on. 877-881-1053. You might be wrapping things up. Now, I'm not talking about Christmas presents. I'm talking about wrapping up the holidays, getting away from the family, getting back to your real job on a Monday, which is tomorrow. Or you might be headed to the airport for another reason. Or it's a gig economy. It's a gig economy. That means you might be working today. Or you might be headed off to church. 877-881-1053. Whatever it is, we appreciate the Tolos for hanging out with us, because we are no one without you and you and you. We got a surprise guest this morning. I'm about to introduce you to him. In fact, before we introduce you to him, let me give props to Dylan. He's in the Pimp Cup holding those Gators down. Dylan, what's happening, man?
Living the dream.
Living the dream, that's right. Everybody should be grateful if you have that gig economy. You know what I'm saying? If you have that gig, because not everybody's able to. Now, our big surprise guest, here's your drum roll right there. It took us a long, long time, but we finally found a fan phenom. And sitting across from me right now, right in this room at our new beautiful Lakeside Studios, is Eric. What's your last name?
Casares.
Eric Casares. Eric Casares is the new fan phenom, which means Blake Elliott no longer has the belt. Blake Elliott, you hear him on Fan After Dark with Fred Davis. He is no longer the current fan phenom, and he held that title for maybe 2 years or so. Eric, seemed like you and I did some fan phenom work, was it back in August?
Back in August.
That's when you had your tryouts?
Can't believe it. I mean, you said, first of all, a long wait is an understatement. It was 4 months, but hey, we're here now, and that's all that matters.
That breaks the record. Usually we find out the fan phenom, and Spittle announces the fan phenom after listening to all the tapes. It usually takes a couple of weeks. With Blake, it took all the way till the World Series ended, when the Rangers won the World Series. That's the year Blake became the fan phenom.
2023 was a big one then.
Yeah. But it took you all the way to what, Christmas? Almost Christmas?
Yeah.
When did you find out?
I found out at the end of November.
End of November?
Mm-hmm.
What was Spittle's excuse for waiting so long? Because he told Blake, to get past the Rangers had this extended run in the playoffs. And, we had to get past the World Series. It was a good reason, but Blake had no idea. All the fan phenom finalists had no idea for like months. For you were with a group of fan phenom finalists. And what was Spittle's excuse for you?
I think it was the move, honestly. You guys are just in a new studio now, so you got to get settled in. I mean, it's a valid excuse.
That's a real excuse. And by the way, did you ever go to the old studios?
I did. That's where I did my fan phenom tryout. So he invited me on the show. This was September 27th. I was explaining a little bit.
That's when you went to the finalists.
Mm-hmm. Yep. As a finalist, crazy. And it was me and two other people.
So when did you and I do our try? Because I would normally, I'm one of the hosts that when we do the fan phenom for all the Tolos on location, it's usually like 30 people trying out. Every location, and this year was like Jake's Burgers, I believe.
Yeah, Jake's Burgers. It was like 4 different locations. I think it was Mesquite, Fort Worth, Frisco, and there was one other one I can't think off the top of my head. You'll have to fact check me on that. But I was at the Fort Worth one. Mm-hmm. You weren't at that one. I think that was Gavin and Zach at the time.
Right.
And then I went to the one in Frisco because they invited me, and that's when it was you and Gavin and I.
Very good, very good. And so Gavin Spittle, again, he's taking notes, he's setting it up, he's producing it, and then we get to do like a 10-minute segment, or 3 minutes?
It was 3 minutes, but I think some of them that went they did good, ended up going a little bit longer. I think they got like a 1 minute threshold, or maybe I'm tripping. Mine felt like it was longer than 5 minutes, maybe because I was a little nervous.
All the guys are nervous. All the girls too. So there's girls that tried as well. All kinds of totals get a chance, an opportunity. And again, you can try it as often as you like through this process for 2 weeks, I believe. And then Spittle goes into the Vatican. Smoke comes out, and the 27th of September, he has like some finalists coming to the studio. And then after that, he announces who the Pope is. I'm kidding. It's Sunday, so I had to go. I had to go there, 877-881-1053. We're going to find out more about you as the show rolls on. Again, we're going to talk about everything in the world of sports, but we're going to talk about the Cowboys the very next segment. Sit or see. The Cowboys aren't playing today. They're not playing on Monday. They're not playing on Thursday. They're actually going to play another Sunday game, the last game of the season, week 18, the game number 17. We're going to go into who you want to see and who you want to sit. We're going to go into that in the very next segment. We're also going to talk about these NFL games, the early games coming up at noon. We got a couple of games back-to-back on the schedule. Dylan, I want you to tell us who these games are in just a minute here as soon as you got them in front of you. But we got NFL football right here to hold you down because everybody can't be in front of the flat screen. Everybody's not at some sports bar. Everybody's not at home. Everybody's got reasons they want to keep up with this weekend's games, even though the Cowboys are not playing. Who got on the station today?
So the noon kickoff, we start pregame 11:30. It's the Patriots at the Jets. Mm-hmm. Patriots doing really well. They still atop the AFC?
They're still atop the AFC, I believe. And Eric, tell me on that because I know you keep up. You got a podcast, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Talk about this every single week, so I'm on it for sure.
So the Patriots are taking on who? The Jets?
The Jets, yeah.
Jets are just hoping to be the spoiler.
Right.
Aaron Glenn, who, by the way, was an assistant coach for the Cowboys. He's a Parcells guy. He actually grew up in Texas. Went to Texas A&M with Dan Campbell. They both went to, not together, but they both went to Texas A&M. But they were both here. They're both Parcells guys when the Cowboys were playing. Dan Campbell was a backup tight end at the time, helping out Jason Witten. But Aaron Glenn's wife, his family, her family, there's a lot of former NFL players or NFL players whose wives have family in Texas or North Texas or here in Dallas-Fort Worth. He's just one of them. His wife's family is from North Texas here in Dallas, and he owns the Williams Chicken, that franchise, off of 67 and Redbird Lane. So if you ever go by that Williams Chicken, that is Aaron Glenn's restaurant. Aaron Glenn, of course, is the head coach for the Jets. They can't win a game. I think they've won one. Have they won one yet?
I think they won two. They beat the Browns, and then they won another one. I can't think off the top of my head, but we'll figure it out. But, hey, the Patriots are playing for something in that game, fighting for the number 1 seed with Denver, because Denver's playing the Chargers next week, so you got to watch out for that. They still have something to play for. And the Jets,
on the line. That's right.
One thing I'm watching for this real quick as we get closer, we'll break this down, obviously, but Aaron Glenn and this Jets defense, they have yet to have one single interception. I think it's been 15 straight games. They haven't got a single defensive interception. Crazy.
That's crazy. It's one of the worst Jets seasons ever. And the reason why he's got elbow room is because when Dan Campbell went to Detroit, they didn't win it. I think they lost 10 straight games before they even won a game.
They tied a game before they won a game.
Yeah. So they know what they're getting. And Aaron Glenn, actually, I think he played for the Jets back in the day for a minute. All I can say is, he's got some history there, so they got a little elbow room. And plus, everybody knows, with the Jets, a dysfunctional franchise, the grandkids are running the front office. And we're talking about Madden. That's what I'm just saying. That's what they do. What's the game after that one?
Yeah, so the Jets do actually have 3 wins.
Okay.
That's
Shockingly.
3.
Yeah, they beat the Bengals.
They beat the Browns.
They beat the Browns, and then their last one was against the Falcons.
The Falcons, that's right.
But who's been keeping up? Unless
who's paying attention to the Jets? Anyways, the 3:30 kick it'll be a fun one. It's Eagles at Bills.
Ooh, this is the game the Cowboy fans, before the Cowboys got eliminated by losing to Detroit and losing to Minnesota, this was the game that everybody said, you know what? If the Eagles lose to Buffalo, because Buffalo's got everything to play for, the Eagles they're raggedy right now. This is in November. They're raggedy right now. If they lose that game, the Cowboys win the division and the Cowboys make the playoffs. Not so much anymore. Not for Cowboy fans, but if you hate the Eagles, you want to see the Buffalo Bills win that game. And the Bills, they have reasons to try to win this game.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They still have a chance to win the AFC East, so they're no slouch as well. You can't sleep on Buffalo in this game. They're going to be at home. It's going to be cold, so there's a reason that they are favored going into this game, so you got to watch out for that. And the Eagles still fine for seeding as well, but they're likely going to be either the second or third seed.
Exactly. And what's wild about this is, again, for the Cowboy fans lamenting the Cowboys didn't make the playoffs, and it's the defense was the reason. We're going to talk about who should replace Eberflus. He's dead Coach walking. I'm just keeping it real. A little later in the show, we're going to talk about, we got some candidates who they should have to replace Eberflus. And we'll also get into George Pickens' money. Let me say this right off the bat. George Pickens, the Cowboys are going to figure out a way to keep him. It's either going to be a contract or it's going to be the franchise tag. I've got the numbers for both. And we're going to talk about should Pickens even get the franchise tag? Are there a couple of other guys who, on paper, makes more sense for the Cowboys to tag and just give Pickens his money? We're going to get in all those kind of scenarios. And we'll also get into the unsung hero of this season. Yeah, I think there's a candidate. There's a Cinderella story and an unsung hero on this Cowboys franchise. We're going to talk about the Mavericks as well. We're going to talk about the Stars. We're going to talk a little college football as well because, the college football playoffs are ongoing. They've already kicked this thing off. And of course, we're going to go text line and get all the Tolos conversations. And by the way, you got some comments already. Congratulations, Eric. This is from Jagon and Terrell. He's a longtime Tolo. Let's see. 469 says, what's up, three-time Hall of Famer Mr. CA, Daniel and Forney, Toloing and delivering Amazon. What's up, Eric? Welcome to the fan. We got another Tolo from the 469 said, headed to the golf course this morning. 214 says, happy last Sunday of the year, CA. Headed to First Baptist Church in Dallas this morning. How about them Broncos? That's also from Jagon and Terrell. And we got another Tolo saying, thank you, Ryan Young. I don't know what that is exactly. And they got another 469. It's the biggest Chris Arnold fan in McKinney. Working out in the garage is listening to CA. My highlight of 2025 was meeting Chris Arnold and Mavericks game through a mutual friend. Hey, put your name on. Oh, okay, your name is Ryan. Okay, thanks. See, sometimes these texts are broken down because they can't put all the words in one text. And let's see, another Tolo from the 46 says, my 11-year-old niece is a better defensive option than Eberflus. Shots fired.
Wow.
We totally understand how you feel because there's a lot of people that know the defense kept the Cowboys from going to the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it sure did. And a lot of it was not just personnel. It was a lot of scheming, a lot of cover two, a lot of zone. People just felt like they were mismatched. And, and every time I would see, I hate to call out somebody, but K9, Kenneth Murray, every time I saw him out there, he was out of position every time in the run game. So, every time I wanted to see more Logan Wilson.
It's so funny. Jerry wanted to see more Logan Wilson, too. In fact, we might play that cut a little bit later. If you can pull that up before the segment's over with, that'll work, Dylan. Here's what's so funny about Murray being out there. I figured out exactly why he was playing. Eberflus likes him. Shoddy loves him, even though he made no plays, was out of position, and all those things. Let me explain the rationale behind this. I figured this out. You got to do some, what they say, 3D chess. You know this kid from UT who could never get on the field, the running back. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Jadon Blue.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why was Jadon Blue never on the field? He wasn't practicing the right way. He was inconsistent on his practice. We know he's got that second gear. We know he could play. You saw what he did at UT. But you also know he would sometimes not wear the right shoes because it was always something. So he's deactivated a lot of times. In other words, he was almost acting like he was entitled. He was royal. I'm talking about Jadon Blue, and I don't dislike the guy. I want to see him play. But this is what Eberflus would always say. You have to earn the right to play. So I found this out because I was doing this deep dive, and I'm at the start every week doing these player profile interviews or whatever the reason I'm out there. Murray was always practicing right, doing everything right. And so because of that consistency, he was allowed to play. My deal is he's getting too many snaps. You might have earned the right to start, but you're still getting too many snaps. At practice, perfect practice player. So he was the example for all the guys who either lackadaisical or didn't know their assignments or whatever the reason, they weren't you're showing up late at meetings, whatever. He was the example of You do these things right during the week, you get to play. That is the only reason he was playing. Meanwhile, he's costing you games, driving the fans crazy. But the coach is like, well, he's showing us every day at practice during the week. Is it all to me? He's doing everything right. But to me, just limit the number of snaps. And who was the guy that didn't get a chance to play? From Logan Wilson, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, even Jerry was shocked that Logan Wilson didn't get a number of snaps this last game.
Well, we need to improve.
Spit it out, Jerry.
I'm going to just say, because improve where? First of all,
don't hold back.
I don't have an explanation for you why Wilson wasn't in there. He'd planned to be in there. We'd planned to have him in there, so I don't have that at this time. But he needs to be in there. He's got good instincts. The reason we got him was because he reads the play quick and can basically be in his lane of responsibility or react quick. It's critical that a linebacker have quick reacting, and he's able to do that. That's why we got him. So, but I don't have an answer to that yesterday.
That's why Flus is getting fired. It don't make no sense. And by the way, that cut from the Jerry Jones Show on 105.3 The Fan, sponsored by Windows Nation. So again, we're going to go into why Flus is going to be gone. He's dead coach walking. But Kenneth Murray, yeah, I found out. I did a deep dive, 3D chess. He kept doing everything right at practice, but that doesn't mean he get all the snaps. That's why Flus is gone. Let him play, let him start. But don't let him get all the snaps just because he looked good in practice. I can go on and on and on. When we come back, sit or see. Dallas Cowboys last game. Who should be out there? Who's not? This is 105.3 The Fan.
The more time you give,
And it's back to 105.3 The Fan. This upcoming segment is brought to you by the Frankels. If you've been injured in a car or truck wreck, call Frankel first. 214-817-3333. With Frankel and Frankel, there's never an out-of-pocket cost. They only get paid when you win. Frankel and Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Dallas.
Thanks, Dylan. Dylan holding those Gators down in the Pimp Cup. I'm Chris Arnold, 105.3 The Fan on a Sunday, along with Eric Casares. He's the brand new fan phenom. Get to know him a little bit better before the show's over with. We're going to be riding shotgun with you and you and you all the way till 11:30. That's when our first game kicks off. We're talking about a back-to-back NFL doubleheader heard only on 105.3 The Fan. 877-881-1053. That is the text line for all the Tolos who want to text in. In this segment right here, and by the way, coming up in the very next segment, we're going to talk about the NFL early games, the 12 noon games that you'll be able to keep up with for either fantasy purposes or if you're a degenerate and you got something on it, I understand. There's people who do what they do. And there's a FanDuel, and just name all the different things. There's different reasons why people partake in sports or partake in the NFL. We're going to talk about those early games the very next segment. But we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys right here because the Cowboys have one more game to play. It's not going to be today or Monday or on Thursday. It is going to be next Sunday, 1 week from today. They will wrap the season up against the Giants in New Jersey. Oh, yeah, keeping it real, in New Jersey. They haven't played the Giants in New York, maybe since the 60s. All I can say is not since they built that stadium out in the flatlands out there. 877-881-1053. The question for everybody, including you, Eric, is sit or see? Who do you want to see play for the Cowboys? You want to see more of, see if they deserve a chance to come back? Or who do you think needs to sit? They don't need to get possibly injured, or you've seen enough out of them. You know what they can do. Either, in other words, you're ready to move on, or, hey, I already know this guy's got a job. I ain't concerned about them. So I will say this, since this is basically a meaningless game for both teams, because the Giants have nothing to play for except for jobs, meaningless game for the Dallas Cowboys organization because they're not going to the playoffs, I want to qualify this and say there are players who have something to play for. Either they have clauses in their contract where they can reach certain goals, not just bragging rights. They not to be Pro Bowl because they announced the Pro Bowl players. And by the way, shout out to George Pickens for making the Pro Bowl, and Butter making the Pro Bowl, and Tyler Smith making the Pro Bowl. And then I mentioned Tyler Smith. He's playing a different position. Maybe you want to see more of that. All I can say is there's reasons why players still want to play. Their coaches, not to say they're fighting for their jobs, but it's more than Eberflus who may, not be back for next year. Maybe be some of his disciples. Maybe some guys on the defensive team or defensive side of the ball, coaches who, they want to stick around. Or they're like, you know what? Flus is my guy. I got to get ready. I got to show all these other people that I can coach them up. You know what I mean? I got to look for another job. Flus might be able to sit on his money for a year, sit it out. There's some assistant coaches out there new defensive coordinator might not want, or new defensive coordinator might want to keep. There's a trickle down here. It's more than just, I don't want to see him anymore, or they might get hurt, or I want to see more of because I want to see him back next year. So, Tolos, 877-881-1053. And by the way, let us know what you got going on Sunday. You might be headed to church. You might be getting out of Sunday school. You might be working a gig. You might be door dashing. You might be getting ready to open up a restaurant for Sunday. You might be doing whatever the thing there is. Let us know what you got going on. And by the way, a heads up. I always try to let the people know because I'm minored in meteorology. Eric, did you know I'm minored in meteorology?
I do now. That's all that matters.
Yes, I can tell you about thermodynamics. I can tell you about Chinook winds. I can tell you about all these jet streams. Today is going to be about 80 degrees just like yesterday and the day before. But guess what? This afternoon, the cold front comes in. Whoop. This is North Texas. It's going to change. The low tonight is going to be 38. You hadn't seen 38 since before Christmas. Winter is trying to sneak on in. But if you live around here, you know that. And by the way, if you're listening on the Odyssey app, we appreciate you too. 877-881-1053. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the deal. Sit or stay. Eric, give me a name who you think needs I mean, sit or see. Give me a name of somebody you want to see sit.
Sit. Definitely Overshown. In concussion protocol right now. I wouldn't rush getting him back.
Right.
He's already had his history of injuries, and not just at Texas, but in the NFL. Agent Zero, I want to see him off the field. I love the explosiveness. I love the speed. He's a guy that you want to keep around the defense. If you're playing that game where, we can only keep and trade, you're keeping Overshown. He's on the top of the list on the defensive side. I don't care if it's Eberflus, if it's Brian Flores, if it's Al Harris. You bring him back, it don't matter who the defense coordinator is. DeMarvion Overshown is too valuable to this defense. You sit him.
On offense, who would you like to see sit?
I would like to see Javonte Williams sit on the offensive side and Tyler Guyton. Definitely focusing on the offensive line.
Guyton's out for the rest of the season. They gave
so he is officially shut down. That's the great decision there.
That's why Tyler Smith is definitely going to play left tackle next week.
And there has to be something said about the mental barrier too, right? Now, Tyler Guyton isn't just struggling with injury. He might be struggling mentally because he's playing out of position.
For 2 years in a row now.
There's now a lot of words around, is he capable of being a starting offensive lineman in this league, playing out of position? That can get to your head. So I think a mental reset for a team that just got eliminated from playoff contention might be a good thing for him. So I would like to see him sit. I'm glad he's sitting. Somebody that is kind of on the bubble right now, Javonte Williams, went out early in that Washington game. Malik Davis, guy that I want to see because
2 yards.
Undrafted guy, been bouncing around the practice squad on the roster.
You're saying sit Javonte because he's got this stinger in his shoulder, by the way.
And Javonte also hit both of his incentives already.
Yeah, he has hit his incentives. He's gotten 1,000 yards for the first time in his career, and he's got the most yardage he's ever had in his career. They want to have him back. He's going to be a free agent, and you just wonder what the price is going to be. I think it's going to be reasonable because he loves it down here. But hey, you have to cross that bridge when you get to it. Before we say who we want to see, and you mentioned Malik Davis, he's definitely somebody I want to see. But you mentioned Javonte Williams sitting down. I think that's a natural thing to do. Let him sit. And back to Tyler Guyton, we're talking about Tyler Smith playing left tackle. This is what's interesting about this whole situation. I want your 2 cents on this as well. We've been talking about this for about a week and a half now. Tyler Smith in college played left tackle. He also played left tackle as a rookie because out of the blue, Tyron Smith got hurt. And, the last couple of years of Tyron, great as he is, he was breaking down, which is why he's retired. He played great at left tackle for Tyron. Then he moves back to left guard where they wanted to slide him all along. All Pro Bowl. I mean, go down the list. He excels at that position. But what it does for Tyler Guyton is when he was in college, he played right tackle. They thought, we'll just swing him over there. Everybody's not a swing tackle.
Yep.
In fact, there's a guy, a right tackle right now, Terrence Steele. They tried to do that a few years ago. He's not a swing tackle. See what I'm saying? So putting him over there right tackle might make sense since that's what he excelled at in college at OU. Meanwhile, Tyler Smith, this is the tale of these Tylers, right? The Great Wall of Tyler.
Great Wall of Tyler. There's 3 of them.
Oh, my goodness. Tyler Smith is like, I'm a guard. I'm an all-pro guard. He's not showing his hand. If that's where he prefers, that's where he wants to stay. Put it like this. Guards don't make as much as left tackle. Even though I've heard there's language in his contract. You remember, as soon as they traded Micah Parsons away, first thing they did was extend Deron Bland and Tyler Smith. Gave him his money because he was going to be up at the end of the year. He got big money, but I heard there's clauses in there that will take care of him if he's a tackle. But it does not hurt to say, I'm a guard. That's what Zach Martin said, but Zach Martin was serious. I'm not budging. I'm a right guard. Going to the Hall of Fame as a right guard. I'm not budging. Tyler Smith is like, I'm a guard. Team first, but I'm a guard. So keep those dynamics in mind as they play this last game. Tyler Guyton's definitely out for the rest of the season. And who else do you want to see sit defensively?
Defensively.
I'll give you one.
Am I allowed to say Kenneth Murray?
You can say it again. Because we want to see the kid they got from the Bengals.
Yeah. Logan Wilson, and I think there has to be something said about Logan Wilson, a guy that not only is now we can classify him possibly getting benched from the Cowboys, because if he's not playing, you're benched, right? If you're not getting reps,
We'll put it like this: he's getting reps, but he's not getting the majority of the reps.
he's not getting the majority of the reps. But that was the same situation of why he got traded from the Bengals,
and he was a captain. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing: you don't know what he can do with the Cowboys because Eberflus wasn't playing him, and then playing him enough. And like I was saying, I told you my theory. Murray does everything great at practice, so Shoddy's co-signing saying, "See Jaden Blue, this is the way you do it. See Trayvon Diggs, this is the way we want to see somebody play to show that you're paying attention, not taking a nap in the meeting room, whatever it is. We want to see people committed. This is the culture we're building. You perform well during the week. You know your assignments. You get to play." And Murray, sad as it is, looks great during the week. So I'm with you. I don't want to see him. I want to see the Bengal.
Logan Wilson.
Whoever
Get him in there.
is the new defensive coordinator, we want to see if this guy's got anything left in the tank because couldn't see it under Eberflus. The other guy I want to see not play necessarily because they're headed for divorce.
Trayvon Diggs. People can dog him out. I'm not dogging him out. I just think he was the messenger that said Eberflus isn't playing to our strengths. And when he kept it real, he was on the radar. But again, it might have been before that because in the offseason, guess what? They fined him $500,000 for not rehabbing at the Star. That was the fine print. He rehabbed so well outside of the Star, he was able to start the season. He wasn't supposed to be back until October. But he doesn't trust them. They don't trust him. Headed for divorce. Don't let him get hurt because if he gets hurt, guess what? Cowboys, he can't be gone. I don't want to see Trayvon Diggs playing this game. That's who I want to see sit in this game defensively. Is there a possibility that Trayvon Diggs does stay in Dallas if he doesn't get hurt? Like if assuming that if they brought Al Harris back, let's say that.
Ding, 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 ding.
Is that a culprit?
Our own Brian Broaddus, who's got all kinds of connections, says there is no way Al Harris is coming back because on the coaching staff, or at least in the front office, it was some bad blood. Now, I don't know what that was. All I can tell you is Al Harris was lock sync with Dan Quinn when they were here together. He goes everywhere Dan Quinn goes. And when Dan Quinn got the head coaching job at Washington, it was just automatically assumed because Al Harris said, "I'll go to Alaska for Dan Quinn." He was going. Front office gave him assistant head coach title and gave him more money. As soon as they brought in Eberflus, he's gone to Chicago Bears. What do the Chicago Bears do? Everything. And defensively, scoop and score, pick sixes, everything that Dan Quinn used to do. Al Harris, fingerprints are all that.
And former Cowboy Nashawn Wright has been killing it. He's been among the top cornerbacks in the league in interceptions.
Yep. Yeah, Al Harris unlocked Nashawn Wright. So with all that being said, Al Harris isn't coming back. But if he were to come back, Trayvon Diggs would probably be,
ecstatic.
a Pro Bowler again.
And probably Deron Bland, who led the league in pick sixes a couple seasons ago.
There's one more I want to ask you. I'm looking at the text right now to see if some text that they want. Okay, 214 is going down the path I was about to go on. Keelan Lewis says, sit Dak, play Milton, let Dak call plays all game long. That's from Keelan and Louisville. So would you sit Dak? That was how I was going to wrap this thing up. Would you sit Dak or would you want to play him? He's had the best season of his career. And by the way, just so you'll know and Tolos to know, in the last game against Washington, do you realize Dak Prescott was sacked 6 times, hit 11 more. He's 32. Sit or see?
I would play him.
Even though he says, this is what you want to play for.
And right, and I saw that interview too where he said that even if they asked him to sit, he would fight it because, he loves the game. He's a competitor. And I respect that. I think the safest way to do this is have him play only the first half. If you're going to throw him out there and get some reps, just do the first half. But by that second half, I don't know if the game's going to be out of reach. It doesn't matter, right? Because the game is meaningless.
It's meaningless.
Get Joe Milton out there, get those reps, and have Dak be that OC calling the plays And because he did it in the preseason.
Sure did.
It's not like he hasn't done it before.
And it actually helps him when he does play because he knows what he knows what shot he's looking for.
Right.
I would say this. I wouldn't even play him whole first half. I would let him just play one drive. That's it. Mic drop. Off the field you go. Guess what? We're going to talk about who we want to see a little bit this next segment, as well as go around the NFL, the first games, the early games, the 12 noon kickoffs. We'll do that next on 105.3 The Fan.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Whether it's due to job loss, a divorce, a new business venture, or you just didn't file your taxes, don't lose hope. Powerful relief programs are now available that can help you and may reduce or even eliminate what you owe the IRS. With the cost of living affecting millions across the country, Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying anyone with $5, $50, or even $500,000 in back taxes to the IRS to call to get relief options. With over 1,000 five-star Google reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, TRA is America's trusted choice for real tax relief. Relief options are now available that can give you a fresh start and peace of mind. End your tax nightmare today by calling our tax relief hotline. Dial 800-390-8432. 800-390-8432. That's 800-390-8432. Or visit TRA.com. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10, $20, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-848-2299. 800-848-2299. Again, that's 800-848-2299.
John and RJ here with Underdog. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, and block parties are back, and however you like to get in on the action, you can do it on Underdog right now in Texas. This season, you can make team picks and player picks. Just download the app, sign up, and you'll get $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. And using Underdog is easy. You just pick whether your favorite team will win, or your favorite player goes higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Plus, with Underdog's quick payouts, you get your profits fast. Download the app today. Promo code TOLO and get $75 in bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. Player picks, team picks, all on Underdog.
Crypto.com predictions powered by Underdog Predict. Trading derivatives involves risk and may not be appropriate for all. For more information, visit nadex.com/rules and underdogfantasy.com/rules. For Crypto.com predictions, the term pick refers to a product traded on CDNA. Must be 18 plus and present in Texas. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Get that end zone dance ready. Football is back. And nobody brings a pregame party like Specs, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. Specs has Texas' largest selection of canned cocktails, spirits, wines, and gourmet bites. Everything you need to take your watch party from JV to the pros. So head down to Specs and cheers to savings. Down, set, delicious. Specs, the fun starts here.
Every weekday at 2:45, it's Krusty's Corner with Pro Football Champion Scout Brian Broaddus on 105.3 The Fan. Brought to you by Greystone Roofing. Protect your home with trusted pros. Quality, honesty, craftsmanship. Get your free inspection at greystone-roofing.com.
And we're out. Back in 60.
Hey, what are you eating?
Chimichurri filet mignon. It's a factor meal.
Oh, nice. Wait, they let you eat like that in the pros?
Oh, they insist on it. A pro's work starts on the plate.
Oh, man, that does look good. Let me have a taste?
Get your own.
All right. Where do I find this? Is it factormeals.com?
Yep, and they've got a deal going on.
Oh, love a deal. I am so
And it's back to 105.3 The Fan. This upcoming segment is brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. If you're in the market to upgrade your vehicle, get to Classic Chevrolet in Grapevine. Back-to-back #1 Chevy dealership in the world. They've got more new Chevys than anyone, all priced to sell. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. This is Texas. This is Classic Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Relax and enjoy the difference based on new Chevy registrations 2023 and 2024.
Thanks, Dylan. This is 105.3 The Fan. I'm Chris Arnold. It's a Sunday. Easy like a Sunday morning. I can't sing. 877-881-1053. That is the Frankel & Frankel Injury Attorneys text line. Tell us you can text in. Let us know your thoughts. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys right now. Sit or see. They don't play until next Sunday. Joining me on the show this morning is the brand new fan phenom, Eric Casares. Did I say it right this time?
You said it right that time. Third time's a charm.
Look out. We're going to get to know you a little bit better the very next segment. Also, we're going to talk about in the very next segment who is going to replace Eberflus. But in the meantime, I want to give you a couple of games that are going on at high noon today. Cowboys off this Sunday. Of course, they played on Thursday Night Football. They've had an extended weekend. I guess it's 10 days before they play this next game. We're going to talk about who we want to see, because we're talking about see or sit. This last segment, we're talking about who we want to see, because you want to know if you want to keep them or not, right? But today in the NFL, these are games coming up at noon. We already mentioned on the air here on 105.3 The Fan, you will have the New England Patriots taking on the New York Jets. That's going to be beginning at 11:30 our time, the pregame show. And we're going to follow that game, the 3 o'clock kickoff, be Philadelphia at the Buffalo Bills. All kinds of implications for the Bills on that game. Philadelphia might have a shot at something. But we're going to talk about, like I said, these games that are going on at high noon today, including you've got the Bucs at the Dolphins. You know, the Bucs have something to play for.
No, they sure do. And they started 5-1, and now look at them sitting at 7-8. So they're not looking too hot. Baker Mayfield was a perennial MVP candidate at the start of the season, and he's been battling injuries. Their whole team has been battling a lot of injuries, and Todd Bowles has been struggling. So I think it's kind of affected Baker's confidence from the second half of the season to how he was playing at the first half. So they really need a win here.
Dolphins, is this a Quinn Ewers game? Is he going to play again? We're talking about UT's own Quinn Ewers, the last UT quarterback to get them to the college football playoff. I think that's the only one, too.
Yep, Quinn Ewers didn't have an exciting debut, but we didn't expect him to.
Did he have 100 yards? I don't even think he had 100 yards.
He did, yeah. And then
not as bad as Minnesota the other day. They only had 3.
So a lot of people are going to be watching that game for Devon Achane, which Gig'em, former Aggie, was actually teammates with him, which we'll talk a little bit more about that on the later half of the segment. Yeah, later in the show. So Pro Bowler, going to have to watch him in the running game. Miami is a really good rushing attack, so it's not going to be an easy out for Tampa Bay. It's a Florida showdown. It's going to be in Miami. The weather, I imagine, is going to be pretty nice, but Baker Mayfield and this Buccaneers squad really need this win.
What's so weird about that game to me is you got NFC versus AFC, and usually these last couple of weeks it's division rivals against each other. Steelers are taking on the Browns in Cleveland.
Yeah, Myles Garrett going for the sack record. He is half a sack away from breaking
Martin's
it.
Own.
Yeah, so I'll be watching for that, but it's going to be hard because Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the league currently at getting the ball out quick. He don't want to get that sack.
Yeah, he's not. Put it like this. Here's the irony. Aaron Rodgers used to play for the Green Bay Packers, right? When Michael Strahan set the record, he was going against the Green Bay Packers. The quarterback was Brett Favre, and everybody to this day says, well, Brett Favre just let him get the sack record because he just kind of just stood there, and it was almost like, yeah, because it wasn't even in a struggle. So I don't think Aaron Rodgers is wired that way. Not at all.
No, I don't think so. He's kind of more the selfish type. Yeah,
he really is. I mean,
he's stubborn.
He's stubborn. He goes into his cave every offseason, comes back, and comes up with a theoretical reason. He talks about life in the beginning as it manifests itself through the eternal complexities of renunciation as opposed to the juxtaposition of the inferior mind. And that's the way he rolls. Next game at 12 noon today is Jaguars at the Colts. Are the Jaguars for real?
I think they are. I think it's time to start taking them serious. I think Liam Cohen, there hasn't been a lot of love that's given to Liam Cohen, but I think he's been a big reason Trevor Lawrence has taken that second leap.
He's unlocked him. He's unlocked Sunshine. By the way, you ever keep up with Star Wars?
Oh, yeah. I love Star Wars. I don't know if I I don't know if I'm as knowledgeable as maybe, the everyday
But
Star Wars.
you have a clue, right?
I have a clue, yeah.
All right, so, Dylan, you ever keep up with Star Wars?
Don't hate me, but I've never seen Star Wars.
That's fine. I'm not going to hate you. I'm not Fred. Fred's always like, what? You don't know? You don't know? So check this out. When he first got drafted, I'm calling him Sunshine because he looks like the guy in Remember the Titans, the Denzel Washington movie.
Right.
There are other people who like Star Wars and say he looks like Jar Jar Binks. I'm just talking about Trevor Lawrence. Do you know who Jar Jar Binks is?
I do know who Jar Jar Binks. But there was
all I can say is Google it. If you don't believe me, just Google. Jar Jar Binks, Trevor Lawrence is there. I've never said that. I say Sunshine. Look up Sunshine. Denzel Washington movie. Remember the Titans. Trevor Lawrence. That's my comp. I'm just saying.
So shout out to my mom. She, every time we watch NFL together and, we have the TV on, she'll always look at the player and she'll compare it to somebody that he looks like. And Trevor Lawrence, she always thought that he looked like Fabio.
Women would say that. Those romantic novels, they would know. They would know. Saints versus the Titans in Tennessee.
Tyler Shough has been playing some good football. And I can't say that I'm surprised because
he was an old quarterback as a rookie, right?
He's an older quarterback coming out of Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And
in other words, the pandemic allowed him to stay in college a little bit longer.
It did. And one thing I will say is, I know everybody, there's not everybody that's listening, the average listener, they're not film junkies, right? There's not going to be everybody out there constantly watching film.
You mean everybody's not Broadus and Wolchuk?
Maybe not everybody, but, so for the casuals watchers that didn't know that Tyler Shough was going to be, this good, it's okay. But I will say, diving into him a little bit deeper coming out of the draft, I will say he might not have been one of the top prospects coming out of the draft, but I will say that he had probably the best tape.
Okay, yeah, you know what? And again, Kellen Moore, people who follow the Cowboys like, Kellen Moore, oh man, I wish he was coaching better when he was the Cowboys. I used to always say about Kellen Moore, he doesn't know what he's doing. I would always say this about Kellen Moore. I would say Kellen, and he's the head coach of New Orleans right now. I would always say Kellen Moore is a brilliant offensive mind, but he needed seasoning. I would always say he's not situationally aware. He would call a play out of nowhere, like, what is he doing? When he was with the Cowboys, when he was the offensive coordinator for the Cowboys, he goes, Philadelphia, they go to the Super Bowl. Now he's the head coach in New Orleans, and don't let him get the right quarterback. He's going to be a thorn in people's sides, because I really do think Kellen Moore, he's not a great interview when he's interviewing for jobs or whatnot, because are you familiar with the Osmond brothers? Nope. Dylan, nope. Okay, Google up Osmond brothers. Donnie Osmond and his sister Marie, and they had a show, and the Osmond brothers. They're all from Utah, and he's from that part of the country, and they look like he could be an Osmond brother. Google. I'm just saying, for everybody over the age of 30, he's Osmond brother. That's what Kellen Moore looks like. But back to the Saints-Titans game. They're in Tennessee. I'm hoping that Tony Pollard runs wild again. Former Cowboys running back. He's from Memphis. Family got a barbecue place in Memphis, and he's running back for the Titans. He's under the radar, but he's still good for those who aren't keeping with Tony Pollard. Seahawks at the Panthers. They're going cross-country all the way from the great Northwest to Carolina. Who you like?
Carolina's up and down, but they play a lot better at home. They play really good at home. But see, the thing is, what cancels out of how much better that Carolina plays at home is Seattle. Mike McDonald, that team is historically dominant on the road. I think they've only lost one or two home or away games since he's been that head coach in the 2 years. So it's going to be tough to win.
It's going to be tough, but here's the deal. The Seahawks could win the division. And by the way, Tank Lawrence, when he left the Cowboys and went to Seattle, everybody was shocked. How come he's not going to Dan Quinn? Why is he not going to Detroit? Because a lot of teams wanted him. He went to Seattle because he was saying those teams already been to the NFC Championship game. I'm going to a team that's about to go to the NFC Championship game. He's talking about Seattle. Nobody was believing him at the time. He also went there because former Cowboys defensive line coach Aiden Darty, the brother from London, the bloke from London, he's out there now. And they have a great relationship, and Tank Lawrence is doing all kinds of stuff out there, including scoring touchdowns as a defensive end. Just saying, keep an eye on the Seahawks. And the final game on today at noon is the Giants and the Raiders. Both of those teams suck. The only reason you might want to watch this game, the Giants are in Las Vegas taking on the Raiders. Giants are the Cowboys' next opponent. That's the only reason I would keep
Or if
keep
you're
up with the
interested in
score.
who gets the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, who got the number 1 overall pick? Yeah,
Yep.
good point, Dylan.
Yeah, no, I watch that, and the Raiders already shut down a lot of players. You know, Max Crosby. There was situations with him
he's
having
out
that
for the year.
surgery, and you know there was speculation with that, and then they just officially shut down their best offensive playmaker, Brock Bowers. So I don't know how that team is going to look without Brock Bowers.
What about the kid from Frisco, the running back? Is he going?
Ashton Genty, man.
He has no line in the first.
He has no.
Are they
no
going to play
line.
him?
I think they will. Now, I pray that I pray that they don't, but I would love to see him out there.
All right, coming up next, we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys, who's going to replace Eberflus? We got some names for you next on 105.3 The Fan. phenom. Yes, we've got a new fan phenom. His name is Eric Casares. And in the Pimp Cup, we got Dylan, or as Fred likes to call him, Dylan. That's a Dave Chappelle joke. 877-881-1053. That is the Franklin Franco Injury Attorneys text line. And by the way, Dylan's in the Pimp Cup, holding those Gators down. So far, so good. Not an issue all morning long. We'll be riding with you shotgun all the way until 11:30. That's when our first NFL game will kick off, at least the pregame show. New York Jets versus the New England Patriots, followed by Philadelphia versus the Buffalo Bills. So we got football all day long right here on 105.3 The Fan. It's the last Sunday of 2025. And by the way, I'm going to ask all the Tolos out there, I hope you didn't fall for that Christmas joke. I say joke because a lot of people didn't realize it. They just fell for not paying attention. Somebody said, do you realize this Christmas, I'm talking about last week, it's 25, 25, 25? And everybody's like, oh, really? 2025, December 25th? But if you think there's no third 25, I'm just saying. There are people just automatically, oh yeah, 25, 25. I asked Reddit like Bobby Belt. I was like, 25, 25. That doesn't make sense to me. I didn't fall for it, but I did initially because I'm like, oh wow, 25, 25, 25.
It's like that typical meme I used to see when I was growing up. It was like, oh, Halloween's going to be on Friday the 13th this year. It's like, that's not even possible.
Yeah, it's impossible. So Friday the 13th. Okay, 877-881-1053. Let me tell you what's going on the show this hour. We're going to talk about the Cowboys right now. This segment right here, we're going to talk about who is going to replace Eberflus. Who should replace Eberflus? And is there any chance in hell that he comes back? No, he's not coming back. We're also going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks and the Stars. Mavericks played yesterday. That's in the next segment. NFL, the late game slate, the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and who's going to play on Sunday Night Football. 1 hour from now, if you're Tolo, turn it on, leave it on, keep it right here because we're going to look into George Pickens' money. We're going to go through his wallet. What's in your wallet? We're going to do Samuel L. Jackson on him. George, GP3, NFL Youngboy. He told me that's his nickname, NFL Youngboy. You know about NBA Youngboy? Yeah, we don't talk about. What's in your wallet, son? All the reasons the Cowboys either should franchise tag him or should give him that contract. By the way, there's a caveat to this. Eric, do you know who his agent is?
I do not.
Does the name David Mulligetta ring a bell to you? That's Micah's agent. He's only represented the best players in the NFL and always gotten them the best money.
So what you're saying is he ain't gonna bite. He ain't gonna bite on getting George Pickens that little money.
In other words, he's not a dummy. Just like Jerry likes to negotiate as a sport, so does David Mulligetta. That's why Micah, even though he's injured, got a big fat $47 million a year from the Green Bay Packers. Just saying. Keeping that caveat in mind. Before we get into your texts on Eberflus, who you think should be... Wait, we got a total text in right now from 94 says, the third 25 hadn't happened since 1925. Lame either way. No, exactly. It's kind of like 6'7". If you know about 6'7", you know that doesn't mean anything. So if you fell for the 25, 25, 25... What was the name of that TV show way back in the day? You Got Punked. There was a TV show called You Got Punked, for those who don't know. MTV.
Yeah, for those that fall for the 25, 25, 25, look up The Ceiling Says Gullible.
Yeah, Gullible. And by the way, the 6'7", when they raised it, do you know where that started?
I know it was from a video. I've seen the video, but I don't know what it means.
Actually, it has something to do with sports. People say, oh, stick to sports. It actually has something to do with sports. If you listen to this, you'll be able to nail it when somebody does the 25, 20, I mean the 6'7", 6'7", and hold their hands up, left, right, like that. Dylan, do you know where that came from?
I thought it was from like the TikTok or something. Like
yeah,
a basketball
I knew it was
game
from TikTok,
or something.
but
well, they turned it into a TikTok. It was a clip.
Was it the LaMelo Ball stuff?
Yes, it was a short clip of Blake Elliott's doppelganger, LaMelo Ball, who plays for the Charlotte Hornets. He was doing an interview, and he couldn't gather his thoughts, and he just said 6'7", like, I don't know, 6'7". So for those who don't know, 6'7" doesn't mean anything. It's like you're in on the bit, if you know that it means nothing. Anybody over the age of 30 is usually like, what is it 6'7"? And now, because it's been going on for about 2 or 3 months, it's lame.
Oh, it might be going on longer than that. I think I started hearing it in July.
Yeah.
And so it's been a while.
Since summertime. So it's lame right now. But yeah, we're going to talk about Eberflus in just a second. I mentioned, Eric, you are the current fan phenom. You found out in, what?
I found out the end of November.
End of November. This is so wild. We talked about an hour ago about how you're the fan phenom. Blake Elliott was the longtime fan phenom. He held that title for almost 2 years because it seemed like we would do a fan phenom every year. But for some reason, Gavin Spittle, who's the Pope in the Vatican for 105.3 The Fan, he's also the hockey hawk. He's the decider. And it took him a while to get Blake, and then it took him a while to choose you. We're so glad you're on board. Let's tell people a little bit about you real quick before we get into Eberflus here. First of all, this is what, by the way, you and I, we did one of the tryouts in Frisco.
It was at Frisco,
you did 2 Friscos.
Jake's Burgers.
Jake's Burgers, you did 2 tryouts, and then Spittle selected you as the finalist, and then he selected you overall. What I remember about you is, and you were sorry, when we talked this past Thursday, or Tuesday, Tuesday.
That was Tuesday, yep.
I was telling you stuff that you didn't know I knew about you, right? Like you didn't know that I knew that you ran track. You were a cross-country guy from Texas A&M, and you also had a cup of coffee at OU, right?
Oh, yeah. I started at OU my freshman year. Stayed there for a year. Spent the time in the dorm with C.D. Lamb, by the way. He lived in the same dorm as me at the time.
Cool.
So, yeah, shout out to C.D. Lamb. Yeah.
Look out.
Yeah,
88.
I started there, and I ended up at A&M. And
who are the A&M athletes? Because like I said, you're on the track team. There's some athletes you went to school with down there.
Yeah, Devon Achan. I was on the track team with him. I wasn't very close with him, but I did know him. He was my teammate, so it's pretty cool to kind of tell people that I was teammates with Devon Achan.
Okay, so check this out. You ran track. Where did you grow up locally?
I grew up in Fort Worth. So right down the street. I went to Keller Central.
Shout them out.
Shout out to Keller Central, North Fort Worth area, basically in Keller. And so, I like to. People tell me that I'm a fraudulent Fort Worth native because I'm basically in Keller.
Put it like this. That's like somebody from maybe Addison or Richardson touching Dallas. I'm from Dallas. It's easier just to say because people might not know where Keller is.
People don't know what Keller is.
If they're out of the state of Texas or even not familiar with North Texas area, they might think Keller is in West Texas. They might have no idea. At the same time, I gotta say this: you have the Cooper flag scruff. How old are you?
I'm 26.
You're 26, but you got this little goatee and beard. It's a little bit thicker than Cooper Flag with his 19-year-old self. And your voice is younger. It sounds younger. In fact, we got Tolo saying, he says, your 14-year-old co-host is providing great content.
14, that's crazy.
That's from the 682. This is so funny about that. That's a compliment because
that
your
is
voice.
a compliment. You want to feel young. You want to look young. I feel like I look young and I feel good.
Don't let the voice throw you off, right?
No, that's right. And they were saying that on the Christmas Eve show with Fred and Blake. Shout out to Fan After Dark. But they were saying that I sounded young. So I'll take that as a compliment. We got a teller from the 682 saying, I'm driving in Keller as we speak. Got another teller says, Max Muncy is from Keller. Boom. Yeah, so hey, shout out right there. So let me read a couple of quick texts because I always say, hey, Telos, we're here with you. We're riding shotgun with everything that you're doing today. Let's see. One of the Telos says, Benatolo says, RJ Choppy. This is from Lonnie in Wolf City, Texas. Got another Tolo saying, hey, trying to get off my overnight shift. Hopefully y'all have a great day today. Because I always say people are working. This is a gig economy. There are people going off to a restaurant to open it up. There are people doing DoorDash, Uber, taking people back and forth to the airport or wherever. Going to the gym? Yeah, going to the gym. We had a Tolo playing golf, the whole 9 yards. So we're here for you. And again, the high today is going to be about 80 degrees, but this afternoon it's going to start dropping like it's hot. That's a shout out to Snoop. You see the halftime, the Detroit halftime? Oh, yeah. Snoop Dogg and everybody, I think Lacey, all of them. He did a whole spectacular.
Did you see Snoop Dogg catch like that kickoff during the Snoop Dogg Bowl?
Yes. And the guy that was doing the interview, I know his mom. This is the craziest thing. It's going viral. Went last night. Tell him about it again. He's in the end zone doing an interview for TV.
He was in the back of the end zone doing an interview.
At the Arizona Bowl?
Yeah, it's the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl or something like that. Anyway, there was a kickoff. It goes probably 8-9 yards deep in the end zone. No one's there to field it. It was a fair catch. So Snoop Dogg thinks it's a great idea to just run it into the end zone and catch the kickoff.
He was in the back of the end zone, out of bounds, and he says, hold it, my man. You know how he does like Snoop. And by the way, maybe play that audio a little bit later if you find it. Hold it, my man. And he runs out into the end zone and dives, catches this because it's bobbling in his hand, but he caught it. The slow motion replay is all, organic. Drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot.
Here it is.
Oh, you got it? Here we go. That's why Dylan is the man.
Puzzle, so I'm just honored to be a part of this game so I can give back. The ultimate give back. Oh, this is me. Watch out. This is me.
No!
Crowd goes wild.
And he came out of his shoe. It's going down here in the doghouse. West Rider Snoop Dogg.
My bad.
He said, I understand it now.
You came out of your shoe right there.
Come on, man. I'm just doing it all today, baby. All right, I was in the middle of the interview, but the ball, it had to get caught.
All right, so every dollar from this game going to charity.
Yeah, man. Everything is going to charity, man.
That was so wild. It went
That was
viral.
awesome.
It went wild. Okay, let's talk about Eberflus. We're going to talk some more about you a little bit later. We're going to talk about Eberflus right now. We got a teller that texted in, cut Eberflus loose. So, he's not. This is his last game next Sunday when the Cowboys play the Giants. Because when Jerry was on 105.3 The Fan with KNC yesterday, or actually it was Will and Alec, or 2 days ago, that went viral because for the first time he said, no, I'm disappointed in the defense. And we'll play that audio. You got the audio? If you got the audio, he's going to play it for the segment so with. Dylan's on top of his game. None of those Gators are getting him. But Jerry's like, no, defense sucked. I'm paraphrasing. And we all know from the first game of the season, this ain't working. He's doing way too much zone, and this is a defense the last 4 years. Even Zim switched it up to what Dan Quinn was doing, which scoop and score, punch out the ball, create takeaways. They weren't doing that. Mostly man defense. So I got my list, and it's a short one. Who do you think should replace Eberflus, Eric?
I want to see Brian Flores in Dallas.
Ding, 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 ding. That's my choice, too.
That's number one for sure.
Tell everybody about him.
This dude was a head coach for the Dolphins, and so him and Tua didn't really get along, so that ship sailed. But a lot of people criticized the fact that Miami got rid of him. So
Miami didn't get rid of him. The owner illegally got rid of him because he wouldn't tank for Tua. He won at the end of the season, and they still got Tua, but then Flores sued the league. The owner, Steven, whatever his last name is, Steven, he got fined. And I think they got fined some draft picks too, because everything Flores said was correct. So he's kind of somewhat blackballed. And then he winds up with Pittsburgh with head coach there.
Mike Tomlin,
my frat brother. And now he's in Minnesota.
Yeah, with Kevin O'Connell, who's a great offensive mind, and they've kind of turned their season around. Now, already eliminated, but they showed some promise. Not only did they beat the Cowboys, but, they won a couple games at the end of the season. They just beat the Lions on Christmas.
Let me say this about the Lions. Flores' defense held their passing game to 3 yards. He also did a great job against the Cowboys. In fact, after that game, Dak and Shoddy all were talking about Flores. What we had to do, how we couldn't beat Flores, and Flores was doing all these, you couldn't prepare for him right because he was doing, and the way you execute. In other words, it was a chess game between Shoddy and Flores. In other words, there's mad respect from Shoddy. He doesn't hate Flores. It's like, yeah, I've had to coach against him before. There's mad respect for Flores. So the logical thing to do, Jerry, money whip him. Make him, because you can't go from defensive coordinator to, you can't just laterally change jobs. In a way you can, but not really. The loophole is give him a title of assistant head coach. That's all you have to do. Money whip him, get him out of Minnesota. And the money whip job is this. Minnesota's offense is not there. Even when J.J. McCarthy is healthy, it's not there. Brian Flores, come down to Dallas. The offense is there. All they need to do is fix the defense, and they're going to do whatever it takes in the offseason, whether it's drafting, trades, certain free agent signings, to uplift the defense. and then you get this team to the Super Bowl as the defensive coordinator, you're back to being a head coach anywhere in the NFL. And not only that, you get to mic drop with Shoddy of getting the Cowboys, or the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, in the drought, the whole 9 yards. It's an easy decision if you're Flores.
And it's about changing the culture, too. And you want a guy like that can come in and change the culture. And so I think Shoddy, they can criticize him all they want about how this season went. First-time head coach, I like the way he's doing it. I love the way he's doing it.
Number one, number two, offense, that was his in charge of. He wasn't just a walk-around coach. He was in charge. He's calling plays on the offense. It was not just Dak. It was Shoddy running Dak's stuff. Or Dak running Shoddy's stuff. You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, and Shoddy did good stuff with Russell Wilson back when it was let Russ cook era when he was with the Seattle Seahawks. So, and then, of course, his longtime father was a legend. So
exactly. Oh, by the way, thanks 682. He said, guess what? Flores is on the final year of his deal. He is a free agent next month.
So what they're saying is he's a Dallas Cowboy.
Well, come on. Do what you have to do. It's just that simple. And if you missed it earlier, Al Harris, who was the perfect fit here when he was back with Dan Quinn, he's with the Bears right now, killing the game. Broadus had said earlier, about a month ago, there's some kind of bad blood in the front office with Al Harris. Nothing against Al. It's just, sometimes they don't match up right? So he's not going to be able to come back. Flores is the answer. Don't take a flyer on some younger guy and have him learn on the job. Don't go get one of the good old guys that Jerry's been knowing all his life or Steven is comfortable with. No. Get Flores and win a freaking Super Bowl.
And walk with me real quick here, Chris. Just real quick.
Okay.
How much of this is going to help that Jerry Jones is getting more urgent now, that the fact that this team can't waste Dak's prime?
He's already said, I ain't got time for a bad time, but this time he means it. Coming up next, we're going to talk about those other franchises doing things this time of the year in the North Texas area. Talking about the Stars and the Mavericks next on 105.3 The Fan.
krld-fm.com.
Back to 105.3 The Fan. This upcoming segment is brought to you by the Frankels. If you've been injured in a car or truck wreck, call Frankel first. 214-817-3333-3333. With Frankel & Frankel, there's never an out-of-pocket cost. They only get paid when you win. Frankel & Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Dallas.
105.3 The Fan on a Sunday. Chris Arnold, along with our brand new fan phenom, Eric Casares, and in the Pimp Cup, we got Dylan holding those Gators down. Tolos, we always want to say thank you for letting us ride shotgun with you as you do everything you do on a Sunday morning. 877-881-1053. That's the Frankel & Frankel Injury Attorneys text line. We've been talking football, NFL football, Cowboys football, quite a bit of football all morning long, and we will continue to talk some more football all the way till 11:30. That's when the pregame show for the afternoon slate of NFL games, which will be heard right here on 105.3 The Fan. First game, New York Jets taking on the Patriots, and then Philadelphia goes against Buffalo back-to-back right here on 105.3 The Fan. We're going to talk about some of those 3 o'clock kickoffs a little bit later in the show, as well as we're going to talk about George Pickens' money. I'm rich! B, I had to say it. I caught Chappelle's show. Dave Chappelle actually was in concert here a week ago Friday at the American Airlines Center. And I've seen I got CA stories about him, but he's got a Netflix special that he dropped as well. And he had 3 comedians open up for him, and all of them were really, really good. And the guy named Donnell who opened before him was on his Chappelle show back in the day, and he is the one that says, I'm rich! B, and he would do that at the end of each show, and he does it at the end of the Netflix show. And he did that in that concert, too. Anybody win that concert, 20,000 people strong, you know what I'm talking about? It was greatness. But back to the sports at hand. Last night at the American Airlines Center, and we'll talk about the Stars and the Mavericks right here. Last night was not a good night for the Dallas Stars. They lost to one of the worst teams in the entire NHL in overtime. This is crazy but true. It's crazy but true. The Blackhawks, the Chicago Blackhawks, last in the NHL standings, snapped a 6-game losing streak, beating the Stars in overtime, 4-3. Eric, are you in shock? You should be. I'm going to tell you why. Because the Stars are better than that. The Stars are the second best team in the NHL as far as I'm concerned. They really are. This is a shame. Because this is the second time that the Stars have lost a game after regulation. And this is after they had won 4 straight games. In other words, we're not used to this with the Dallas Stars.
Not used to it at all. And then, for those people that may be feeling a little bit down in the Dallas area, right? The Cowboys are eliminated.
Why are you bringing up Trevor and all those other, just bringing up all the different people have said, right?
Well, they're going to come in and they're going to hype them up. But, maybe you're feeling a little bit down, right? They're getting ready for the peak of hockey season because the Mavs aren't doing too hot.
Right.
And then, of course, the Cowboys are already eliminated. You got the Stars. The Stars, the standard for them is Stanley Cup. So when they see them lose back-to-back games, and one being against one of the worst teams in the NHL, you said bottom of the standings, you're better than that.
This is just crazy. I don't know if it's like the in-between Christmas and New Year's hangover or what, because Stars and the Mavericks both lost yesterday.
Maybe a little bit of rust?
Yeah, maybe. All I can say is the Stars just everybody who was at the American Airlines Center last night, you got to be kidding me. At least it went to here's one of the things about those games in hockey. When they go extra, oh my God, you don't know when you're getting out of there. It could be midnight. It just goes on and on and on and
that makes the loss probably feel even worse, too.
That's what I'm saying. So this is how bad the Blackhawks have been. They're the worst team in the NHL in the standings. They had lost 6 straight games. They hadn't won a game since December the 12th. That's how bad the Blackhawks had been. Meanwhile, like I said, the Stars, 25-7-7 now, but they're just second best team. Like I said, Stanley Cup or bust. You got Mikko, he had a goal and 2 assists, and I think I want to say it was Wyatt Johnson had 3 assists, but the Stars, like I said, they fall. Their next game is going to be New Year's Eve.
Yep, New Year's Eve, 7 o'clock here at the American Airlines Center against the Buffalo Sabres. But, like we were talking about, the Blackhawks were on a big losing streak. Mm-hmm. The Sabres are on an 8-game winning streak.
Uh-oh, dun-dun-dun.
Gotta watch out for that.
And by the way, everybody in Buffalo has bad blood against the teams in Dallas. We're talking about the Cowboys, but the Stars as well. Because the only Stanley Cup championship that the Stars have won, Brett Hull's skate was in the crease in Buffalo, and the Stars win. And everybody knows it. Brett knows it. They didn't call it. And Buffalo fans can't stand Dallas, whether it's the Cowboys or the Stars. But the Stars had the last blood because that was in 1999. Bottom line is this. This has been going on a century for both the Cowboys and the Stars as far as this Buffalo hate. And that's going to be New Year's Eve. New Year's Day, ironically, the Stars are playing a back-to-back. They fly out to Chicago, hopefully to get revenge against those same Blackhawks. So put it like this. You better have the strength after you, quote-unquote, play against Buffalo, and hopefully you tag them again. You tag them. You, BTA.
BTA. You know about BTA?
I know about a lot of stuff.
Okay.
You saw Michael Irvin on the sidelines. BTA. Miami Hurricanes.
Oh, I was indifferent in that game, Chris.
Yeah,
you know
but you saw
being an Aggie.
the entertainment was Michael Irvin on the sideline.
When they scored that pitch play to Malachi Toney and took the lead up 10-3,
right?
And Michael Irvin was doing a gorilla stance.
Yeah,
he was going crazy.
Yes, that's his. He's from the U. In fact, he created that whole persona. Talk about the culture. Michael Irvin created that and then brought it to Dallas with Jimmy. First, he came with Landry's last year, and then Jimmy came along, and Jimmy said, Michael, be Michael. And that's what happened. And that's why the Cowboys of the 90s had that it factor. And that's why to this day, you go to a Cowboys game at AT&T Stadium, Michael Irvin's on the big screen firing up the crowd.
Oh, yeah, every time.
He does a video every year firing up the crowd. And I always say, if Michael Irvin was the head coach of the Cowboys, back in the late, in the early 2000s when they were 5'11", Campo, I kept saying, Michael Irvin needs to be the head coach. And people thought I was crazy because they kept bringing up, Michael Irvin, he's out of control, the White House. They bring up everything Michael Irvin did that was wrong. And I said, he doesn't need to be, I said, he could be just like Barry Switzer, the walk-around coach, and you get your coordinator, assistant coaches, but let Michael Irvin fire him up.
There has to be some way you could have him involved in the staff one way or another, right? Just bring the energy.
Put it like this. These days, I don't know if Michael wants to do that. Way back in the day, Tom Landry let Drew Pearson be an assistant coach. And Drew said, I can't do it. First he was doing it. And then he said, no. Because those assistant coaches, for those who don't know, they work long hours. Long hours. He said the players, they got the schedule, and then they go home. Assistant coaches, if they lose, it's longer hours. If they win, they might be game planning for the next game. Crazy long hours. So shout out to all assistant coaches, no matter what the sport is, especially NFL coaches, because it's crazy hours. And again, I don't think Michael ever would do that. Michael's one of my guys. I don't think he'd ever do that. But, bringing the energy, firing people up, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the other team that lost yesterday. Yesterday afternoon, for those who don't know, the Dallas Mavericks played a 4 p.m. game because they're playing in Sacramento on the West Coast, which is a 2 o'clock tip-off for them. So, it's the holidays. It worked for them. I'm watching the game, and for the first time, Cooper Flagg was having a bad game in the first half. He had 4 turnovers. Mavericks lost this game, for those who don't know. They lost to the Kings. Kings, I don't care what their record is, for some reason, they give the Mavericks problem. Whether it's with Dirk, whether it's with Luka, now with Cooper Flagg. What the hell is going on with the Sacramento Kings always doing something to mess with the Dallas Mavericks? But they beat them. Of course, the Mavericks were getting destroyed in the first half, but the Mavericks, they got the resiliency. They lead the NBA in clutch games. For those who know what that means, games you're within 5 points with 5 minutes left to play. It's like it's down to the wire. They did this last spring, which is why it's like, oh, yeah, this team don't ever quit. This last spring, they did it with 8 players. 10 players. All these injuries. No Kyrie. No AD. No, somebody always hurt.
Luka
guys
traded.
on two games. Luka traded. 2-game contracts. I'm talking about all spring. They were always in the fight, which is why they fought their way to the play-in. So they're doing that same thing this season. It's always down to the wire. By the way, Cooper Flagg, who is, he is the rookie of the year unless something falls apart, and I don't see that happening. He had like 22 points, 21 points. Cooper Flagg had a nice game at the end there.
Yeah, he had 23, 6, and 5.
Right.
So, solid game.
Yeah.
Didn't shoot the ball very well in the first half. I mean, the team overall didn't shoot the ball well in the first half. But you can't win games when you turn the ball over 18 times. And that's a simple fact.
Was it 18? I thought they wound up with 20. I mean, it was bad. And they know better than that.
19 officially.
Look out. It was just maddening because it was just a damn shame. They cut the lead down to 2. And what was the final score?
Final score was 113-107. So it was a 6-point loss, but they were playing catch-up.
The whole game. And it was a damn shame because they're supposed to beat Sacramento. No Anthony Davis, as you know, if you watch the Christmas game, Mavericks go in that Christmas game feeling good. AD and Coop is the vet and the rook.
Wearing the green jerseys.
Yeah, they were looking good when they won that game against the
Nuggets.
The Nuggets. They owned Denver this year. They beat them up there, and they beat them at the American Airlines Center.
And you were talking about that back-to-back, because remember, you said you really wanted to win that Pelicans game. Felt like it was the one that you dropped.
Yeah, another clutch game.
Denver's coming in town.
Right.
You win that one.
And they won that one. In a way, the Mavericks, because they wound up winning the Denver game, they actually could have have even more wins. But that's, ifs and buts for candies and nuts, we'll have a Merry Christmas. But no Anthony Davis, because it wasn't the left calf, it was the right groin, right in that area up above his knee. And so he's going to miss a couple of games. So he didn't play. And everybody's like, well, they go back on the bandwagon. Yeah, trade him. Here's what you have to understand, and you'll probably give me I want to hear your thoughts on this. I always try to tell people, let me hear your thoughts first, and I'm going to tell you what you got to know about trading a superstar.
So my thoughts on Anthony Davis getting injured?
Or the trade talk.
I think you got to give. I think you got to give it until Kyrie comes back, because we still have yet to see Kyrie and AD play. What they played like half a game together.
Half a game.
It was half a game against the Rockets, and I'll tell you what, that half a game, Chris, was spectacular.
It was spectacular.
It was spectacular, and especially so soon after the Luka Doncic trade, I wasn't expecting it. So I was very impressed. But there's always something with AD. It's like how much of a threshold are we going to give this? How much of a barrier are we going to give this in terms of AD coming back and AD being healthy? Because you can always make the excuse of, when AD gets back, or when Kyrie gets back. It's like, how long
the question is, how long will he be back?
How long will they be back?
I mean, that's the whole. First of all, they're playing at Portland tomorrow, so people know.
Not an easy game.
Kyrie's not coming back for that game. When they announced that NBC Peacock Network picked it up. Like, whoa, they must have picked it up because they think Kyrie's coming back. No, Kyrie's not coming back that soon. He could be back in January if he did the quote-unquote, you take a whole year. They'll be back after 1 year. He would be back in March, like the first week in March. He's ahead of the schedule because he's a work fiend. I mean, he's got a tax rehab. But some guys, they just go through it and, I just have to go through rehab. He attacks it. He's doing everything, but he doesn't want to set foot on the court until he's Kyrie. He don't want to build his strength up or work his way into it. No, he wants to hit the ground running. So that's not gonna happen probably until January sometime. In the meantime, you cannot trade Anthony Davis until you get the value. And you can't get the value until, just like you said, he's playing with Kyrie. Also, he's got a super agent involved, right? So with all those factors, and just because you say you want to trade him, and everybody makes these projections, this one team, they can fit under the cap this way, it will take a third team to be involved. It always happens that way. Even when Luka was traded for Anthony Davis to the Lakers, people forget Utah had to throw in some picks, and Danny Ainge didn't even know what he was involved in. So you just cannot calculate a trade. It's fun because team building is a sport and speculation is a sport, but I can't see Anthony Davis going anywhere until he puts together a lot of games in a row, especially with Kyrie. And we'll just see how it plays out. Coming up next, seeing how things are going to play out, how about the late games this afternoon in the NFL? We'll go there next on 105.3 The Fan.
'Tis the season
latest Smith and Sons episode wherever your favorite podcasts are found.
Back to 105.3 The Fan. This upcoming segment is brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. If you're in the market to upgrade your vehicle, get to Classic Chevrolet in Grapevine. Back-to-back #1 Chevy dealership in the world. They've got more new Chevys than anyone, all priced to sell. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. This is Texas. This is Classic Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Relax and enjoy the difference. Based on new Chevy registrations 2023 and 2024.
Thank you, Dylan and the Pimp Cup. Appreciate you so much. I'm Chris Arnold, along with our new fan phenom, Eric Casares. And Eric, we've been talking about Cowboys sit or see. Their last game is next Sunday, not today. And by the way, we will go on all the way until 11:30. We have the pregame show for the Jets versus the Patriots. That's the game you'll hear only on 105.3 The Fan here in Dallas-Fort Worth. Followed by Philadelphia at the Buffalo Bills. If you're a Cowboys fan, you want the Bills to win. If you're an Eagles fan, you better hope they look good. You don't need the win, but you want to hope they look good, and we'll talk about some playoff scenarios in just a minute here. We've been talking about the games that'll be played this afternoon at noon, and almost all of the games are going to be played today at noon. It's so bizarre. And, Eric, you were bringing this up. There's only 2 games at 3 o'clock?
Yeah, there's only 2, and I guess we made a mistake earlier, so that Giants and Raiders game is actually at 3:05 today. So 3:05 Central Time. The one that we did,
yeah, because it's in Vegas. Yeah, makes sense.
The one that we forgot to mention in the 12 o'clock slate was that Cardinals-Bengals game, and Bengals are coming in as big favorites. So that's the only one we didn't talk about, but we did talk about that other 3:05 game, and then, of course, Bills and Eagles.
Eagles and Bills, let's talk about that for a little bit here, because I mentioned casually. You don't want to see the Eagles win, even though they've wrapped up the division.
Of course.
They've got some playoff implications.
Yeah, they do.
And so do the Bills. But let's talk about the Eagles first.
Yeah, the Eagles, their offense, and I said this on my own podcast, Chris. I mean, I've been saying this. I feel like I talk about the Eagles every single week because they give me a reason to talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this every single week. I feel like we have yet to see the Eagles have a complete offensive game from start to finish.
Correct.
First quarter to fourth quarter. If they have a good offensive game, it's normally either in the second half or the beginning of the game, and then they look bad at the second half, vice versa.
Or Saquon looks good in one game, he disappears the next game. The passing game's great one game, it disappears the next game.
A.J. Brown's pouting one game, he's not doing it at the other. So
it's always something.
There's always something with this offense, and the last 2 weeks, they've looked good. But granted, they've played 2 of the worst teams in the league. They played the Commanders with Mariota, they played the Raiders with Kenny Pickett. It wasn't even Geno Smith. So how much are we looking at that and saying, okay, they're back? This is the game this week.
They're one and done.
Yeah.
They're going to go to the playoffs. We're going to find out the matchup.
Do you know who they play right now? If the playoffs started right now, you know who they play?
Who?
Los Angeles Rams. And I wouldn't want to play them in the first round.
One and done.
And especially what they did in Philly last year in the snow. Jared Verse and that defense, they gave Jalen Hurts and that offense problems. Now Saquon, he went nuclear, but that was Saquon 2,000 yard last year.
Yeah.
So now you're coming in this year. The Rams have been clearly the more consistent team. I don't care if it's in Philadelphia. Right now, if you're the Philadelphia Eagles, you don't want to play that Los Angeles Rams team first round.
And on the other side of the coin, the Buffalo Bills trying to win their division. There's a friend of mine just yesterday was saying, Josh Allen better do it this year. He's got no excuses. No Joe Burrow in the playoffs, no Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. He better do it. And I said, wait a minute. He don't play defense. He doesn't. I said, there's always some situation. Like, look at the Kansas City game that went into overtime. They never got the ball back, and they had to change the rule because of that. I said, you can throw it on his shoulders because he's got that insane arm talent. But guess what? There's always something crazy that can happen at a football game, which is why the NFL has got it on lock, because you can't predict some of these things that happen.
Yeah, and it not only.
But what's the scenario for them? What are they playing for?
They're playing to win the division. I mean, at this point, and they're only one game behind the Patriots.
They want to make sure that they're not playing that first week.
No, and because if they're scheduled right now to have a date with the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville. Well, actually, I guess Houston won last night, so now they're projected to play the Steelers. But things are going to be switching with wins and everything. You're either going to Jacksonville, you're going to Pittsburgh. That's a possibility. And you said that this is an easy route for Josh Allen. Or you saying
that's
what they're saying, right?
The friend said that.
It said no excuse for Josh Allen.
Jeffrey told me that.
No Joe Burrow, no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes. two of those players are the only guys that have beaten you in the playoffs and the route to a Super Bowl. So I know you're saying that it should be easy for Josh Allen, but one, you said he doesn't play defense, and also Trevor Lawrence is a quarterback that he's 1-3 against, that he played against.
Really?
So if you go on the road in Jacksonville, that's not an easy out, man.
Dun-dun-dun.
It's an easy out.
And Jacksonville's on fire this year.
Yeah, so the narrative next year, if they lose that game in the first round, now, God forbid they do, but if they did, then the narrative is going to be like, okay, well, not only does Josh Allen have to worry about Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow, and he's got to worry about Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and that's a nice trio of quarterbacks you have to gauntlet. You know, in other words, that's Jeffrey was saying to me, he's got it easy this year. Well, you never know what can happen, but it is his easiest task so far. With that being said, New England is trying to win the division, and New England at one point, didn't they win like 10 or 11 games in a row?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I mean, they bring in Vrabels, and everything falls into place. And I've always liked the quarterback, Maine. I always liked him. Even when he was at college, Mac Brown was his head coach down there in North Carolina at the time. And I always thought, oh, this guy is legit. And his family, all his brothers played professional sports and stuff. I was like, okay, this guy, he's got a pedigree. Let's see if he can pull it off. And now they got Stephon Diggs up there. And so it's like, okay, all kinds of things are happening. I say Cardi B's boyfriend. Just keep it real. Just keep it real. Cardi B. She does a great job on the witness stand, doesn't she?
I wouldn't know.
You didn't know? That went viral. I know Dylan knows. When Cardi B had to testify. Did you see that?
Yeah. What year was that?
It was just this summer.
Was it this summer, really?
Yes. She was so funny. And she talks with that voice, that little tiny voice. Oh, my goodness. Everybody who didn't know who Cardi B was, they're like, there's something about that girl right there. She was giving really good flip answers, and she won the case. It was a case against her. Somebody did a video illegally. She was getting her nails done. I don't remember the case. Somebody was shooting a video on her, and all of a sudden they broke her privacy, and so she won her case. But back to those Patriots. So the Patriots, if they're going to win the division, what would have to happen?
So they basically just have to win the next two games. They control their own destiny,
including the Jets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beating the Jets and then beating the Dolphins, or I guess beating the Dolphins week 18 because they're playing. So they're playing at the Jets this weekend, and the next weekend they play back at home against the Dolphins.
Tonight, you've got the Bears at the 49ers. People have been sleeping on the 49ers, but the Bears are legit. The Bears are legit.
The Bears are legit, man. And I've been saying this every single week. Ben Johnson is my coach of the year. I don't think there has ever been a coach that has come in and single-handedly changed the culture for a team in year one. And we knew he had it all coming out of Detroit. And look at Detroit now and look at Chicago. So great coaching matters. Caleb Williams is the perfect quarterback. Maybe not the perfect quarterback for Ben Johnson.
Oh, you just like his fingernail polish.
Maybe a little bit.
I think he was wearing white fingernail polish the other day.
But see, that's the thing.
Don't care.
That's why you can't judge a book by its cover. Because everybody's talking about, oh, Caleb, yeah, he's talented, but, the accuracy problem, because he's completing like 58, 59% of his passes. That's not very good for a top-tier NFL quarterback. But you know what? It doesn't matter because he has the head coach, he has the belief in himself, and he has the talent. There's things that he does on the football field, Chris, that when I watch him throw it, I'm like, man, there's probably only 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this league that can make that throw.
There's a reason he won the Heisman, and the irony about all of this, if you ask anybody in Chicago, they will tell you that Ben Johnson, his head coach, is his first ever offensive coordinator in Chicago.
There you go.
Because last year
the Bears
he
can still win the division too.
They technically.
What if I told you that at the start of the season?
No way.
The Bears could win the division.
It's going to be Detroit or Minnesota.
So get this.
Oh, no, excuse me, Green Bay.
So get this. Green Bay lost last night against the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, for those
and
who
that
missed
officially makes the Chicago Bears NFC North champions. Officially.
Yeah, the Ravens won that game 41-24.
And what that also means, because the Cowboys will play a second-place schedule, we will travel to Lambeau Field next year against the
Micah Bowl. And Quinnen Williams, he will be healthy, hopefully. So you can see, the battle of the giants, so to speak, the pass rushers, the disruptors in the backfield. Another note, you got on Monday Night Football, the Rams at the Falcons. Rams should destroy them.
Yeah,
they should.
If you're a betting man and you're looking at that 7.5 point spread and you're like, oh man, I might throw a little bit of money on that, you could do it because you have a pissed off Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford going into Atlanta, and they're still fine for that 1 seed. I know they just lost to that Seahawks. They blew a 30-14 lead in overtime, lost on a 2-point conversion. You're getting it pissed off Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay against Atlanta, a team that's been mid all year.
Let me tell you something. Everybody was saying is the Rams are the best team in the NFL. In the NFC,
I still believe they are.
And they are about to choke away their division. They don't think so. They don't think so. Monday Night Football is going to be much-see TV as well. And you mentioned money. Let's talk about some money of a player that the Cowboys say they're going to keep. Yeah, we're talking about George Pickens.
Peekaboo.
Peekaboo. Peekaboo. Next on 105.3 The Fan.
When your friends say, "Hey, did you hear?" you can proudly say, "I heard it on the Fan." on and leaving it on. 105.3 The Fan.
Ooh-wee. Good Sunday morning to you. I'm Chris Arnold. This is 105.3 The Fan. I'm joined by the newest fan phenom. His name is Eric Casares. Eric, we're going to talk about your story in just a minute here. Also in the Pimp Cup, we got Dylan holding those Gators down, keeping things lively on the ones and twos. 877-881-1053. That's the Frankel and Frankel Injury Attorneys text line. Let us know what you got going on a Sunday morning. You know, I always say this. Thank you so much for letting us ride shotgun with you and you and you all over North Texas. If you're listening to us on the Odyssey app, all over the country, all over the world. Just let us know what you got going on, because everybody's not just sitting at home. There's different reasons you're out and about. You may be coming out of church. You might be coming out of Sunday school. You might be going to church, late service. You might be preaching. And if you're preaching, Lucius got something to say for you. LA Live, Monday through Friday. He always has some funny preaching stuff, some funny preaching audio. That is one of the highest rated quarter segments of any radio in Dallas-Fort Worth. Lucius is LA Live, and he's got kinds of audio, the G-Bag of the day, and every time he has a pastor with a message and it gets emphatic, it just cracks me up. So I was thinking about this. This is Sunday. There are people headed to the airport. There are people who work for the airport. This is a gig economy. You might be doing some Uber, some Lyft. You might be doing some DoorDash. You might be doing some Uber Eats. You might be just going somewhere to eat. You might be lifting weights at the gym. You might be out on the golf course. You might be playing with the kids in the park, because it's going to be another beautiful day all weekend long. But guess what? High today about 80. This afternoon, get out there early. This afternoon, the temperature's going to drop. It's going to drop. It's going to drop, and you're going to be out like a light. Like a light, Travis Scott. You're out like a light. At the same time, it's going to get down to 38 degrees tonight. You think I'm playing? You better get out there early if you're going to play with the kids, or get out on the boat. There are some people out at the boat. They might be at Lake Louisville. You might be tying up some boats together. I know how it goes. Party Cove. I've been there, done that. You might be anywhere. You might be out in Rockwall, Rowlett, over there. You might be just anywhere at all. If you are, we appreciate you having the radio on. Turn it on, leave it on, Tolo. All right, here we go. Eric, I've been asking about you, and we've been finding out some things about you. When you went to college at OU for a minute, then you went down to Texas A&M, you run across country, but you also either set some records or run some important races. Tell us a little bit about your track career now that you're semi-retired.
Yeah, started at OU, ended up redshirting, and I transferred to A&M because my coach got fired, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But come full circle moment, I'm actually getting coached by him now post-college. So me and him developed that relationship. We stayed close. And he's still coaching me for Thunder Road Running. Shout out to Kevin Ondrasik. He's stationed up in Round Rock, Texas. Great guy, great friend, not just a coach, also a really good friend that I consider family at this point. And then also, I started at OU, was injured most of my freshman year. I had to transfer to A&M, start over, and ended up setting some school records.
Yeah, I want to hear these records, because we talked about that earlier. Talk about the records.
The records? Yeah, so I have the indoor 5K school record, and then I have the outdoor 5K school record. I had the cross country course record, which is Dale Watts. That's what the course is called at A&M, the cross country course. I had that record, and then I was a part of the DMR school record, the distance medley relay, which is, if you don't watch track, it's 1,200 to 400 to 800 to mile leg.
So basically, what you're telling everybody is you're a dog.
I'm a dog.
Anybody that does those distances, you're a dog. Everybody in track says, if it's not a speed person, a sprinter or something, he a dog.
Yeah, some of those school records did get broken, though. So the DMR
but you set
got
them at
broken.
First.
But I did set some.
So you kind of casually run on your own. How far do you run? Because you're still in shape, I can tell.
Oh, yeah. I'm still training at a high level right now.
Fighting machine.
And so I probably run about 70 to 80 miles a week. And so.
Look at you. Dylan just turned and said, what? Did you just say 70 or 80 miles a week?
70 to 80 a week.
You're a dog. So then, in your spare time, you got this podcast, right?
Yes, sir.
And then also, you got to become the fan phenom. Last August, you did the trials with all the other Tolos. I co-hosted a bunch of those. It's like every night. It was like 30 of you guys, and you did one in where was the first one you did?
The first one was in Fort Worth and Jake
and then you went to Frisco.
And that's where I met you.
Yep, and then you became one of the finalists in late September, and then you just waited and waited, and Gavin Spittle was thinking about it, and then we moved to a new building, the Lakeside location here, and that was your delay, and then you snatched the belt from Blake Elliott. Blake is the former fan phenom, and of course he's on at nights with Fred Davis, Fan After Dark. So hopefully your career will be somewhat similar to Blake's.
Yeah, hopefully getting started as a fan phenom, but end up becoming a pretty local legend in DFW.
And name a couple of names at OU. You were on the app. You were in the same dorm with CD, right?
CD Lamb.
Yep. And Texas A&M you were with?
I was with Devon Achan. Yeah.
Well, we got a Tolos texting in from the 940 said, did you run with my cousin Trinity Otto at A&M? He was the dog in the decathlon.
Trinity Otto.
Must not have been.
Don't think so.
Because you'd have been familiar with him.
Yeah.
What years were you at A&M?
So I was there from 2019 to 2024.
817 says, I'm driving back from Houston after Christmas with the family. 214 says, I'm on my way to softball practice. 214 says, welcome to the Fan, Eric. I'm home cleaning up before the temperature plunge. 940 says, I miss CA Boomer Sooner. Well, I'm here. I'm here now. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, CA. And the 940 says, what are the games that are going to be on the Fan this afternoon? Well, at 11:30, you got the pregame show for the New York Jets and the Patriots. That's at noon. And then following that, you got Philadelphia versus the Buffalo Bills. We're going to talk some more NFL in just a little bit. But right now, got to talk some money. Because money, counting other people's money in sports is a sport. I'm saying it because that's all people do. Well, I don't really get jealous of their money. I'm just trying to figure out the salary cap. We know why I play for free. We know why you're keeping up with everybody else. I can't believe they're getting all that money and all he did. I know. Money watching is a sport. I'm just keeping it real. At the same time, let me get in your business. Were you getting NIL money or were you too early?
No, I was a little too early. Yeah.
Yeah, it was before your time.
Yeah. Now I did do some free NIL like sponsorships.
Sure.
Where like you post something on your Instagram story.
You weren't at A&M last year.
No, exactly. College sports has changed drastically in the last 2 years.
Oh my God,
it's insane. And
it's not just sponsorships and endorsement. It's like here's your money.
Yeah.
And especially in football.
I was a year too early.
It happens, man. So welcome to the show. Let's talk about some people's money in Frisco. Let's talk about the Cowboys' money and how they're going to spend this money. But in particular, NFL young boy, better known as George Pickens.
Peekaboo.
Number 3, GP3. Not to be confused with the cone CP3. I said it. He's old now. I said it. I'm sorry. Shout out to Chris Paul. And his brother Cliff Paul, who's still making money for Allstate. Just say, or was it State Farm?
I love how you bring that up. That's hilarious.
Yeah, well, I got to do that. All right, so let's talk about George Pickens. Everybody knows the Cowboys want him back. He said he wants to be back. He hopes to be back. He's saying all the right things. I mentioned before, his agent is David Mulligetta, who's Micah's agent. David Mulligetta has gotten the most money out of all the NFL agents. He's gotten more and more money for his clients. They always wind up being the highest paid player at their position. And he has said he's ready to talk to Jerry. Jerry has said, unlike the time with Micah, we're ready to talk. But at the same time, it could get difficult, this contract extension. So I got some numbers for you. According to Over the Cap, Pickens could land a 5-year, $153.7 million contract on the open market, which averages out to $30.8 million per year. That would make George Pickens the 6th highest paid receiver in the league per Over the Cap.
You know what's crazy when you say that? He number 6, right? I'm pretty sure DK Metcalf is 4th. He's in the top 4.
And you know who else is it? CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
And that's on the same team.
All I'm saying is there's 3 guys. Those 3 guys we just mentioned. One of them is that clown meme in the military standing behind the base. Yet, one of them doesn't belong in that conversation.
I know you're not talking about George.
No, I'm not talking George or CD.
And you're not talking about CD. The question for the Cowboys is, Jerry, Steven, Will, are you willing to pay 2 receivers over $30 million? And that means if you pay them 2, and of course Dak's getting his $60 million, which is your own damn fault. You could have paid him early instead of dragging that thing out. That's where they always go wrong. Dragging negotiations out, waiting for somebody to blink, and it don't work that way. If you're a position player that's the best at your position or in the conversation of a quarterback in the top 10, you always have to pay. The longer you wait, the more you pay. With that being said, $60 million and over $30 million apiece for the wide receivers, that's over $120 million tied up into only 3 players out of 54 on a roster. You willing to do that, Jerry? Willing to do that, Steven? You willing to go? Jerry said, I'll be willing to write whatever check it takes to win a Super Bowl. But will you do that to keep George Pickens? Or don't forget about the franchise tag, Chris. The franchise tag for wide receiver in 2026 is supposed to be, because remember, it's got to be the top 5 of that position. You want to make a guess at it?
Top 5?
Wide receiver, you got to be in the top 5. That's the franchise tag.
What's the question again? You're asking me if...
What the money is. Do you know what the amount of money is?
Oh, is it 28?
It's 28?
28, yeah.
It's 28?
Yeah.
So you're basically...
I'm sorry, I misunderstood the question. I got you.
It's like this. $28 million, $30 million, yeah, it's $2 million. But still, would you rather have him under lock and key? Or would you rather just spend that $28 million, which is damn near the $30 million?
Yeah, I would personally pay him because Jerry is no shell of overpaying players in the past.
That was the past.
But it's also the timing of everything, and it's always the timing of how he pays these players. Like you mentioned the Dak Prescott. He paid him week 1 of the season, opening day. You can't do that.
No.
Hey, you diminish and all that. And then CeeDee Lamb got paid last second, so him and Dak's chemistry, they didn't have the offseason to work together.
Even Micah got his money last second, but it was at Green Bay. In other words, the Cowboys could have traded him before the draft.
Yep.
And got some real value. They fixed it by getting Quinnen Williams. But at the same time, nobody saw that coming for sure.
And then they paid, and also they were hesitant to pay DaRon Bland Pat Surtain money, and he's not Pat Surtain. So it's always the timing.
And
of
then
everything.
they decided, since we're not paying Michael, we're going to give DaRon Bland this money now.
Yeah, and they overpaid him. So it's like Jerry is not a shell. He's not a stranger to overpaying players, but it's always the timing of overpaying them. So my thing is, when you're evaluating George Pickens, if you're going to pay him right away. Either pay him right away or don't pay him at all.
What about those who argue, you got Pickens this year on his best behavior. Why don't you franchise tag him and see if he'll stay on his best behavior? What's your argument to that?
My argument to that is look what happened with Micah Parsons and his agent. That didn't work very well. Same agent. Jerry thought that he could play the waiting game with all these other players. He played the waiting game with Dak. He played the waiting game with Zeke.
Everybody.
He plays the waiting game because he knows that he has the power, and at the end of the day, they're gonna sign that contract. They're gonna figure it out.
But he winds up overpaying.
And that's another conversation. He winds up overpaying. But here's the thing: the argument, the question was, okay, well, why don't you just franchise tag him? You're gonna cause all these problems with George Pickens because you're
just kicking it down the road.
You're kicking it down the road, yeah. So I think if you just need to come up with the collective decision to either pay him or let someone else pay him.
469 says 5 years is too many years on that wide receiver deal. 817 says if Cowboys pass on Pickens, so you think Ryan Flanoy becomes the number 2 wide receiver? Flanoy is a really good number 3, and he would be a good number 2. Pickens is a awesome number 1A. Because he's really interchangeable with CD.
Yep.
You saw when CD went out with that ankle injury back in October for 4 games. You see George Pickens, that's the reason why he's got so many yards. Because while CD was out, he was cooking.
There's only been 2 wide receivers.
And both of those are best friends, which is another reason why you do this kind of a deal. If those guys were both crazy alphas where, no, I'm the X receiver. I'm the dominant X. I'm the guy. It wouldn't work. But they are like brothers for real.
They're brothers.
George's big brother is CD. CD says, George is my little brother, and I'm coaching him along the way on how to, work in the glass bubble that is the Dallas Cowboys franchise and all eyes on it, and So again, I think you're going to see the best of George Pickens, and there are people from the Pittsburgh staff that I know that's talk about George Pickens was out of control. They said there were people conflating his behavior like, oh, he's another Antonio Brown. He's not Antonio Brown.
Nope.
He didn't get cussed. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know the real stuff. Burfict made Antonio Brown turn into Antonio Brown with that vicious hit. He can say CTE doesn't. Yeah, CTE, Antonio. That's why you know you got it, because you deny it.
And we're not trying to say that there's no concerns at all with George Pickens, right? Like, part of having his character, like, there's going to be some diva-ness to it, right? So you're always going to have that in the back of your mind. And he hasn't been perfect. The Detroit game, the effort that he put on that game, there was a lot of people speculating, do we want to pay a guy like this? But you know what? I don't think that outshines what he's done the entire year. And look, if this was just a situation where George Pickens came in and he was just a one-trick deep ball pony like he was in Pittsburgh, okay, then you let somebody else pay him. But this guy came in and he's completely revitalized the entire offense. His route tree is so much different. You see him doing posts, flags, digs, everything.
You can't guard the slant. You can't guard Pickens on a slant either.
Exactly.
Yep.
He's one of these guys that can judge. Broadus was talking about this. He can judge the flight of ball better than any receiver in the NFL. In other words, he can augment his body or make adjustments on the fly. That's why every ball is basically catchable if it's near him. And at the same time, people who said, what did Richard Summers? He's running these lazy routes. He's always done that. It's not like all of a sudden he's taken off or that game that Richard Sherman was watching. In fact, teams started bracketing him to dare Dak to throw it into that traffic.
And that's what's going to happen. But you know what? When you're bracketing George Pickens, you got to worry about CeeDee Lamb.
That's exactly right. So Shoddy, Dak, it's a pick your poison kind of thing. We got some Telos weighing in. I got to give them the shot in their props. The 940 says, I love GP, but I want to tag and trade him. The offense wasn't a problem before he was here. It's always been the defense. Go spend that money or a $30 million star edge or a solid corner and a linebacker. Fix the damn D for once in my life. That's from the 940. The 469 says, other teams won't be able to get what we got out of GP3, and I'm sure no other team will pay him that kind of money because they know they won't get Cowboys Pickens. That's from Kid Muse. Another Tolo from the 901 says, you can fix this team in one off season. Pay George, draft an offensive lineman in the first round, then cornerback and wide receiver, free agent linebacker, cornerback, and edge. It's just that simple. You can fix this team and also get your new defensive coordinator. We want Brian Flores. Just saying. So again, George's going to get his money, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be with the Cowboys, and I'm with you on this. Get it done now. Yep. Don't drag this thing out. You would think the lessons have been learned if it wasn't for the fact that they decided to make some trades for the first time in a while. This team would have been a total S show this season. I'm talking about trading for Pickens,
acquiring Quentin
Williams, and the linebacker that we never see.
Logan Wilson. And you know what's crazy, Chris, is I was thinking about this, right, going into the offseason and everything, right? There's going to be a lot of things we do. The defense is going to be the main focus, but they can save a lot of money if they cut some of those big contracts that we were talking about earlier.
That's right. And as that one Tolo texted in about the draft, first round, second round, fixing this team. Well, guess what? College football playoff is down to 8 teams. We're going to give you our quarterfinal picks next on 105.3 The Fan.
Sean and RJ, the KNC Masterpiece, G-Bag.
at ncpgambling.org.
This next segment on 105.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Frankels. If you've been injured in a car or truck wreck, call Frankel first. 214-817-333-3333. With Frankel and Frankel, there's never an out-of-pocket cost. They only get paid when you win. Frankel and Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Dallas.
Thank you, Dylan, in the Pimp Cup, holding those Gators down on the last Sunday of 2025. It is 10:25. No, not October 25th. It is 10:25 Central Standard Time. This is 105.3 The Fan. I'm Chris Arnold, along with the newest member of our party, the fan phenom himself, Eric. I'm going to mispronounce your name. Casares.
Casares.
It's just that simple, right?
Just that simple. That's right.
All right. Eric Casares, he is holding the belt now. Blake held the title for a couple of years. He's got that belt. Make sure you ask him to give you the belt. It is a physical belt.
There's a physical belt. Okay, awesome.
Maybe not. I might be trolling you.
Hope it's shiny.
It better be, right? It's like a WWE belt.
There you go.
Bottom line is this. He's got the belt. Or he had the belt. You are the new holder of this title, the Fan Phenom. Every year or two in the summer, Gavin Spittle, our Executive Vice President of Programming, he has these tryouts, and guys get a chance, girls get a chance to see if they can be a host on this station. And sometimes it works out, and here you are. So congratulations. It's been a solid show so far. 877-881-1053. That's the Frankel and Frankel Injury Attorneys text line. Appreciate all the Tolos listening in on a Sunday, doing the stuff that you do on a Sunday, the last Sunday of the year. Let us know what you got going on. We appreciate you. Coming up next, we're going to talk some more NFL football. Do you realize this weekend and next weekend, there are guys not just putting out good tape. They're not just coaches and assistant coaches trying to keep a job or make sure that they can stay on the staff if the coordinator gets fired. They're actually players who got big money bonuses on the line. I'm going to name names.
Let's hear it.
Name it next, coming up next.
Okay.
But right now, we're going to talk some college football because, believe it or not, there are 3 more games, more rounds to play in the college football playoff. There are games coming up in the middle of the week. We're talking about New Year's week, because it's not a weekend. New Year's Eve's on a Wednesday. New Year's Day's on a Thursday. But there's games we played. And a lot of people say, wait a minute, I'm trying to remember who's playing because I don't remember the first round. Oregon beat James Madison. Alabama beat Oklahoma. Ole Miss beat Tulane. And Miami surprised Texas A&M. So here are your quarterfinal games. And we're going to go in order on who you like, Eric, and who should win. And let me give you the matchups first, and then we'll go in the order of these games being played. The matchups are number 5 versus Oregon. Number 5 Oregon versus number 4 Texas Tech. Number 6 Ole Miss versus number 3 Georgia. Number 10 Miami versus number 2 Ohio State. Number 9 Alabama versus number 1 Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoops. I kid. The basketball juggernaut has a number 1 football team. So let's start with the bowl game that's going to be played in Arlington. It's going to be noon. Actually, it's going to be 11 o'clock a.m., January 1st. That would be the Cotton Bowl at AT&T Stadium. You got the Red Raiders of Texas Tech, who are 12-1, taking on Oregon. Oregon is also 12-1. This game is in Texas. Is it a Texas Tech home field advantage or not?
I would think so. And I think I think they're being very undervalued going into this game because Oregon, though they are the 5 seed, everybody loves Dan Lanning, and they love the hype that he brings to that Oregon team, and I'm not going to sleep on them. They were actually my national championship pick last year, and looking back on it, they got bulldozed in the Rose Bowl to Ohio State, who ended up winning the whole thing. So I'll eat the crow on that one. I was wrong. I think I'm going to be right this time picking against Oregon. I love Texas Tech's defense in this matchup a lot. Jacob Rodriguez, Heisman, he should have been a Heisman finalist in my opinion because of how much value he brought to that defense.
Let me say this, and you can continue. The defense better be good because when Oregon beat James Madison, they scored 51 points on James. And I'm not saying that James Madison is a tough defense, but they scored 51 points. We're used to Texas Tech being a high-powered offense, and you're talking about the defense?
Yeah, the defense has been arguably the best in college football this year, which is un-Big 12-like. You're not used to seeing that.
They led the FBS in pressures for the most of the season. And number one in takeaways with 31. Scuba scores pick 6. They grabbed 4 in the Big 12 title game.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they bulldozed BYU twice. So that, and BYU was no slouch.
It's hard to beat the same team twice in one season. Ask OU against Alabama.
Yeah, and Dante Moore has been, one of the best college football quarterbacks this season. It'll be interesting to see if he, elects to go to the 2026 draft or he decides to stay another year. I think he might end up staying. But regardless, it's a fun matchup. Oregon, like you said, high-powered offense. But I think this is going to be a defensive game for sure, especially the way Texas Tech is wired.
Okay, so you're saying Oregon's defense can handle Texas Tech's high-powered offense?
I think so. I think this is going to be a really good game.
By the way, every game, to show you how big the offense is for Texas Tech, this is a stat that people don't even understand. Texas Tech has won every game that they won. They only lost one. Every game that they have won, all 12 of them, they have scored and beaten the other team by more than 21 points. The 21-point margin. That's the best scoring margin in FBS. It's 552 to 142.
Oh, one thing, the text line is fact-checking us, so shout out to all the people texting in. It's not the Cotton Bowl that Texas Tech's playing. It's the Orange Bowl in Florida.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. The Capital One Orange Bowl. What is in your wallet? Appreciate you, Tolos. Appreciate you, Tolos.
Florida. The Cotton Bowl is Miami and Ohio State.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Should have been A&M. No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing.
Very good. I appreciate y'all because, again, my mind is tired. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's Sunday morning.
Regardless, Oregon and Tech, 4 versus 5 matchup. This is going to be a big one for sure, and I think it's going to be a defensive, low-scoring matchup, which I like the Red Raiders in.
Thank you, Dylan. And thank you, Eric. Here we go. The next one on tap we're going to go into is the All-State Sugar Bowl. Number 6, Ole Miss versus number 3, Georgia. And by the way, I'm picking Texas Tech.
You like Tech too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Georgia versus Ole Miss. Everybody wants Ole Miss to win just to spite Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, I mean, this game would have been interesting with Lane Kiffin coaching, but I don't know how interesting it is going to be. They did play earlier this season, and Ole Miss kept it closer than I was expecting, but Georgia still ended up winning the game. So, like you said, it's hard to beat the same opponent twice in the same season. So, it's going to be hard to pick against Ole Miss. But the thing is Georgia's been here before. Kirby Smart is probably the best coach in college football. Maybe not this season because that title goes to Kurt Cignetti out of Indiana. I think the way he's been coaching all those 3-star guys.
Google him up.
No question, yeah. I mean, you got to give him respect. But Kirby Smart historically has proven himself in this spot, in these type of matchups, and so I can't pick against them.
Put it like this. If Georgia runs the ball and dominates the clock, because that's how they've been winning this year, they should win the game. As for Ole Miss, let me tell you something. They got this guy, the quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss. He's for real. He's going to be the guy that, if they're going to win, it's going to be on his back. All right? They're going to also need the running back to be healthy, too. That's that Kewan Lacey guy. If he's going to be ready to go, because he's kind of injured, kind of banged up a little bit. Put it like this, and Ole Miss's defense is also pretty good. So that game, which is going to be played in Lane Kiffin's new backyard, Louisiana, down there in New Orleans, bottom line is this. I'm also going to pick Georgia with my brain. My heart is with Ole Miss. Just give Lane Kiffin another hard time.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that Ole Miss isn't probably going to get as much respect going into this matchup because of who they're playing, and then also the fact that they whooped up on Tulane, which they already did earlier in the season, so everybody kind of knew the outcome was going to happen in that game. And so it's unfortunate because, there's arguments with the group of 5 schools, if they belonged in the college football playoffs, the way the format is, if they should change it, there's ways. That's a whole different argument we can go down another day, but regardless I wouldn't sleep on Ole Miss, but it is kind of unfortunate that they're not getting as much recognition going into this matchup.
Okay, now, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, New Year's Eve, 6:30 in the evening. It's going to be
last game of 2025.
Yeah, last game of 2025. And again, Miami is taking on Ohio State. Miami messed up Texas A&M's party because they thought they were going to have home field advantage in the state of Texas at AT&T. Instead, it's nobody's got home field advantage. Ohio State's your defending champion. They've only lost one game. Miami, they were glad to get to the party instead of Notre Dame because they beat them head-to-head. Although Notre Dame's family and friends are like, we ain't even going to go bowl. We're not even going to go bowling. We should have been in instead of James Madison or somebody. Bottom line is this. Miami is in. They're number 10. Ohio State's number 2. Who do you like?
I like Ohio State. Ryan Day and this team overall. Maybe they haven't looked as dominant as they did last year, but they're still Ohio State at the end of the day.
By the way, if they win the national championship, it'll be the first time in Buckeyes history. They've never done it in program history. Back-to-back.
For back-to-back?
They've had a Heisman Trophy winner back-to-back. Nobody else has done that. Archie Griffin. But they've never had a national champion back-to-back in football.
Yeah, it's hard to do. Hard to do in any sport, of course. So, yeah, I'm taking Ohio State in this matchup. Now, Miami can keep this one close, but the thing is they rely on their playmakers, the running game, the Malachi Tonys of the world. That's how they beat A&M. And their defense stepped up tremendously. Ruben Bain Jr., he's going to be one of the top edge rushers in this next draft, and I like him a lot. Maybe doesn't light up the scoreboard in sacks. He did in that A&M game, though. He had 4 of them. So I'm looking at him to make an impact in this game, no doubt about it. But Carnell Tate, Jeremiah...
too much talent.
Yeah, too much talent. Too much talent on that side of the ball for Ohio State. I'm picking them in a Cotton Bowl Classic.
I'm going to pick Michael Irvin to show out on the sidelines, but I'm picking Ohio State to win in the Zeke Bowl. I mean, believe it or not, Zeke won the national championship at the Cotton Bowl, AT&T Stadium. Sure did. I'm picking Ohio State. I have no love for Ohio State, the Ohio State. I really don't. But I don't respect Carson Beck. I just don't.
He didn't have to do much in that game against A&M to win it.
Exactly. If they don't have to count on him. And again, I don't dislike him personally. I just don't think his game, I think when he was at Georgia, the team was so good they carried him. Fair. As if he, was really, really good. I've seen too many mistakes out of him. And then you got the Rose Bowl. Alabama, number 9, versus number 1, Indiana. Indiana 13-0. The Tide are 11-3, and that's the team that Notre Dame fans are really mad. How do you pick Alabama over us? Well, we know Miami beat us, but Alabama pedigree, just that simple. So who do you like?
Yeah, I like Indy. Here's the thing I've been all in on Indiana winning it all. And I know that might seem like a chalky pick, or maybe it's not because people feel like, at the end of the day, it's probably going to be Georgia or Ohio State because of experience. But I'm all in on this Indiana team. I don't know if you watched that Big Ten championship. But after the post-game interview, when they went to Fernando Mendoza, and he gave all glory to God, and he was hyping up the team and crying, that sparked something in my mind. I was thinking, I believe in this team. That's the quarterback I want.
I like
that
his
is the number
story.
1 overall pick. I love the story.
His mom.
Yeah, everything. Like, you just love seeing those stories, and so that's an easy team to root for. And it's not just an easy team to root for, but they have been the most consistent best team in college football. I can't pick against them.
I can't pick against them either. And again, I think Alabama's lucky to be there. This is not a dominant Alabama team. It's just a good Alabama. This is not Nick Saban's teams. You know what I mean? So just because their name is Alabama does not automatically give them the football credibility over a juggernaut like Indiana, which is a real team for real. So both of us agree on Indiana. Both of us agree on Georgia. Both of us agree on Ohio State. And both of us agree on
Texas Tech.
Guns up. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk about some money. NFL players who are owed big bonus money if they hit their goals and their contracts these last 2 weekends. Next on 105.3 The Fan.
You think
information, go to Rangers.com/FanFest.
Welcome back to 105.3 The Fan. This upcoming segment is brought to you by Classic Chevrolet. If you're in the market to upgrade your vehicle, get to Classic Chevrolet in Grapevine. Back-to-back #1 Chevy dealership in the world. They've got more new Chevys than anyone, all priced to sell. Visit ClassicChevrolet.com. This is Texas. This is Classic Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. Relax and enjoy the difference based on new Chevy registrations 2023 and 2024.
Thanks, Dylan. This is the last Sunday in 2025. Next, I guess it's Thursday morning when you open your eyes, it'll be 2026 unless you stay up past midnight and watch fireworks or the party doesn't end or whatever you're doing. On New Year's Eve, that is Wednesday. And by the way, the Cotton Bowl game featuring the Ohio State University and the Miami Hurricanes and Michael Irvin on the sidelines will be on New Year's Eve about 6 o'clock in the evening. Just letting you know. 877-881-1053. That's the Franklin & Franklin Injury Attorneys text lines. This is 105.3 The Fan. I'm Chris Arnold, Dylan in the Pimp Cup, and our new fan phenom. We got Eric Casares here in the house. We appreciate all your fine work this morning, Eric. And by the way, when's the next time people can hear you?
Yep, my first official show will be on New Year's Day. So actually, I might end up missing that countdown celebration on Eve. I'll be fast asleep.
So they're making you get up early and talk sports. Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it.
And by the way, this is your official show, even though on the schedule, you're scheduled for New Year's Eve.
That is
Just keep
fact.
that in mind.
Yeah,
if you're on the air, it's official.
That's true.
They can tape it and they can turn you into the FCC if you cuss.
Oh.
I say that because there was a previous fan phenom, thought he was doing a podcast, and he thought those cuss words he was trying to say, like, were okay.
Uh-oh.
No, FCC said you can't cuss on the radio. There's 7 words you can't really get into. Just saying. All right?
Noted.
Duly noted?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Hey, guess what? We were talking about bonuses. And by the way, Tom and I, we're going to get into some of the Dallas Cowboys. We were talking earlier in the show about guys you don't want to see, sit them, or guys you do want to see, play them. We're going to finish that up at the top of the hour because we've got to review this upcoming game a week from today when they play at the Giants. Who you don't want to see get hurt, who you do want to see something more out of, the whole 9 yards. But I teased going into this break about bonuses. There are players in the NFL, across the NFL, that have bonuses in their contracts. In fact, that's how you can get around certain salary cap things. So when guys talk about, well, the salary cap says you can only do this, it drives me crazy because there are ways you can make it a chunk of it bonus money. You can make a chunk of it the basic salary. You can make, and by the way, the salary cap goes up astronomically every freaking year. So when people do team building, because team building is a sport, or they like to project or manage the cap themselves, I always say, it goes up every year. Every year. Not by a million. Not a million. Lil Wayne. A million.
You know your music, Chris. I've been noticing that this whole time.
I like all kinds of music. So anyway, it goes up. So when they can't because of the salary cap. That's BS. When Stephen Jones said, well, the pie is only so big, he's lying. We can only divide up the pie so much. You can. Ask Philadelphia. Ask Howie. I don't like the Philadelphia Eagles, but Howie's the best of the business. He uses every tool in the book, whether it's trades, free agent signings, drafts, everything.
And he knows how to fleece, man.
Oh, my goodness. They're going to pay the cap. No, they don't. The cap keeps going up. And he also knows when to cut guys. He knows how to do it. So just for perspective, we have several Dallas Cowboys with contract incentives, including Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, Terrence Steele, Malik Hooker. Dak Prescott's 2025 cap hit includes a significant converted signing bonus. Rookies also have signing bonuses. I mean, it's real simple. Okay, so, for example, Trayvon Diggs can get $900,000 in interception bonuses, $300,000 for 5 interceptions, $600,000 for 7 interceptions. He ain't getting that.
He only needs 5 more.
Only. Not in one game.
You average 1 per quarter, he won't get it.
Deron Bland, he can get $500,000 per bonus for 5 interceptions, And it also triggers into a playoff escalator if they do that. Terrence Steele get another $500,000 for playing 85% of the snaps, plus another $750,000 with a playoff berth. That's $1.25 million in just bonuses. Malik Hooker has a $500,000 playing time incentive, another $500,000 interception bonus, which doubles with a playoff berth. Donovan Wilson, $500,000 for 85% of the snaps, another $500,000 for 5 interceptions. Your favorite player on the team, Eric, Kenneth Murray.
Oh, goodness. I was about to say, I know you. Are you talking CD? You talking Dak? Who are we talking?
He's got another $250,000 bonus for hitting interception sack thresholds. In other words, if he gets 3 picks or 4 sacks, he ain't getting either. Ugh. He may give up that much, but he ain't giving in. Dak, like I said, he's got a large converted bonus, but he also has workout bonuses, performance-based guarantees. That $60 million is just not straight up money, is what I'm saying. Not just straight cash, homie. Rookies, like I said, drafted players get standard contract signing bonuses based on their draft slot. Higher picks get larger amounts. Across the NFL, listen to this. It's kind of interesting. I think I'm bringing up this guy in particular because, there's no Cowboy games today. But there's important games we're going to get into the next hour. Do you realize Aaron Rodgers and his contract with the Steelers, if they go on a deep playoff run, let's say, suppose they go to the Super Bowl all the way. Do you realize he could earn how much? This is crazy. He could earn, I'm looking at the numbers, $3.65 million if they go through the playoffs.
Just making it to the Super Bowl?
Winning it. He's all these kickers. I'm going to break them down for you. But by the way, his base salary, 1 year, $13.65 million for Pittsburgh. This is where it goes. If they make the playoffs, he makes an extra $500,000. If he wins that game, $600,000. He gets another $750,000 if it's a division playoff win, the divisional round playoff win. If they win the AFC Championship game, he gets another $1 million. A Super Bowl victory would get him another $1.5 million. If he plays 50% of the offensive snaps for each game, he gets even more money. Making it technically, this is so wild. That's crazy money. But then, like I said, that's how they're able to afford him. I'm saying this for those who like to, do salary cap stuff and the calisthenics. So, like I said, Howie is the best in the business with the Philadelphia Eagles. And for those who keep saying, but the cap, and they let players go, they've won 2 Super Bowls in 7 years. They've been to Super Bowls 3 out of the last 5 years. They won the Super Bowl this last year. They would have, if they had beaten the Kansas City Chiefs and it was close, Jalen Hurts would have been the MVP. Twice now. You see where I'm going with this? The whole point I'm trying to make is there's a way to do this. You don't have to be the Dallas Cowboys who have not been to the NFC Championship game since the 1990s. They have not been to an NFC Championship game in the 21st century. I think they've won 5 playoff games this century. People keep, how old are you?
26.
So you weren't alive the last time they won a Super Bowl.
Unfortunately not.
How about you? How old are you, Dylan?
22, so not even close.
Not even close.
Unfortunately not.
So I don't want to hear, but there's almost so much that we can only divide the pie. Take notes from Philadelphia. Take notes. And by the way, the Cowboys claim, the front office claims this year is the year they might be able to do some things in this offseason. They keep saying that. We're going to see if they actually pull the trigger. And like you said, this is what I want you to repeat your take. You said it's not so much they overpay players. It's when they overpay them.
The timing, every single time. It's not that they do it. It's the timing of it.
It's the timing of it. Don't wait till the last minute, Jerry. Don't wait till the last minute, Steven. And by the way, even though I really like Stephen Jones as a person, he drives me crazy with his being frugal, as if that's his own trust fund money. I mean, come on, Stephen. He's on the far string. Jerry used to be a wildcatter and would throw money at stuff. He was always overpaying in free agency, backup offensive lineman. He gave Brandon Carr $50 million to be a shutdown corner. It didn't work out. Brandon Carr is a great guy. He was a good corner. He was not a shutdown. And since then, Steven has gone completely the opposite way. Fellas, meet in the middle. And the last thing about those two, Stephen Jones' philosophy is based on, we're the Cowboys. We don't pick up the phone first. Agents call us. Then we make a deal, which means kicking the can down the road and it doesn't work. Jerry's philosophy is deadlines make deals. We're just going to see if they blink. Not in this day and age, especially when you want talented players. They have leverage nowadays. They're not just players and just agents. So keep those things in mind as you count other people's money, because now that is a sport. Coming up next, we're going to talk about these games going on this afternoon and who might win what on 105.3 The Fan.
Driven by our D&M Leasing Studios. Thanks for turning it on, leaving it on. 105.3 The Fan.
This is 105.3 The Fan. I'm Chris Arnold, Dylan in the Pimp Cup, and our newest fan phenom, Eric Casares, is in the house. Eric, how you doing?
Doing great, man.
All right, we
Getting to crunch
appreciate
time.
you. We appreciate you, man, and we appreciate all the Tolos for allowing us to ride shotgun with you all Sunday morning long. We'll be with you for the next half hour. Then it's time for New York Jets versus the New England Patriots, and then the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Buffalo Bills right here in your home of the Dallas Cowboys. 105.3 The Fan. We got some NFL football. The Cowboys have this Sunday off. They played on Thursday Night Football. Looked real good on Christmas Day. Looked real good, but then they were supposed to. Handled up offensively for sure. Defensively, 6-7. At the same time, yeah, I said that. At the same time, the Cowboys are not playing. But we do know next week when they take on the Giants, a meaningless game in the standings, so to speak. There are players we want to see sit, and there are players we just want to see play. See or sit. 877-881-1053. Tolos, we're asking you, and you, and you, and you, who do you want to see or who do you want to sit next Sunday in the Meadowlands, Giants Stadium in New York, actually it's New Jersey. 877-881-1053. We also say thank you so much for allowing us to ride shotgun with you while you do all the things you do on a Sunday morning. Eric, you've been fantastic. A lot of Tolos raving about your debut here on 105.3 The Fan. And we got a Tolo that texted in something really interesting because we're talking about sit or see with the Dallas Cowboys next weekend. And by the way, next segment, we're going to get you ready for these games this afternoon. We're going to give you a quick little preview. We did that earlier in the show, but we're going to kind of let you know what games are on tap this afternoon so you can kind of have an idea of what you're watching, whether it's watching in a sports bar, at the house, driving, listening to 105.3 The Fan, or Red Zone, whatever, however you consume your NFL football. All right, Tolo texted in from the 214 says, Chris, from a draft order perspective, keep this in mind. Because a lot of people say, nobody needs to play because we want to get that high draft pick. He said, here's the draft order perspective. Cowboys are drafting 14th and 20th heading into today's game in the NFL. In other words, that's where they are as we speak. The Cowboys can only jump up to 11 or 12 if things work out perfectly. And if they do, next week's games, the Cowboys game, doesn't matter much from a draft perspective. So in other words, as you decide who you want to see and who you want to sit, it really doesn't have anything to do with the draft. The draft is basically set for the Dallas Cowboys. All right? We got a teller from the 817 says, I want to see all of the offense and sit all of the defense. I understand.
So you want to give up 100 points is what you're saying.
Yeah. Another 972 says, I want to sit Ferguson and I want to see more of Schoolmaker. He wants to see Schoolmaker in the tight end position.
I don't hate it.
The 907 says, I want to sit Jerry Jones. Yeah, he will be sitting today. Somebody says, sit Matt Eberflus. This will be his last game. The question is, what will he do? Is he going to still stick to his guns and be stupid and be stubborn and say, this is just the way I am. I coach this way. I might not be that old. I'm not 80 years old, but I'm stuck in my ways. Or does he want to show some versatility so he might get another defensive coordinator job somewhere down the road, if not next year, the year after next? We were saying earlier who we thought should sit. Who did you think should sit? Eric?
Yeah, so I marked Overshown and Javonte Williams, two players that have been big parts of this team on both sides. Javonte, of course, being the offense, and Overshown coming back and adding a speed and burst to this team that the defensive desperately needs. So I marked those two because they're both a little banged up. Overshown with the concussion, hadn't cleared concussion protocol, missed the Christmas Day game, and then Javonte Williams got banged up early with that shoulder. So I want to see those two sit.
And I agreed with you on that, and I also added Trayvon Diggs. And we both agreed that Dak Prescott, you said Dak Prescott shouldn't play more than a half. I said one drive.
You said one drive, yeah.
Just one drive. I mean, his season is set. Everybody knows he was not the reason the Cowboys didn't make the playoffs. He had a stellar year. In fact, most people are saying they wasted a good year of Dak, and he's only getting older. So you don't want to go down that road and have him play and get hurt or something. Let's add to that Quinnen Williams. He's banged up. I don't want to see anything more out of him.
Absolutely.
I do. Tolo texted in that said they're wondering if Ryan Flanoy could be a number 2 if for some reason if we were to use Diggs. He, by the way, missed Christmas. His knee is not as bad as everybody thought it was going to be. He told me when I did the pre-game player profile interview that he wants to play this last game. Shoddy wants him to play. Let him play. Let him play, even though, don't let that knee. I'm not saying play the whole game, but let him play. And I think Tolbert wants to play because he may be going somewhere else. You just never know. He wants to have some good tape out there. Last year, the Woolly Bully, Zach Wolchuk likes to mention, they should have traded Tolbert in the offseason last year because he had all these touchdowns last year with Cooper Rush.
Yeah, and by default, he was the second best receiver behind CeeDee Lamb.
And as you can see, he didn't do anything to improve his stock. You should have traded him while he had some more value.
He did give us that exciting catch against Green Bay, though.
He sure did. That was a nice one.
That was awesome.
Nice one. Okay, so who do you think should play on next Sunday?
So we mentioned Logan Wilson. We mentioned Malik Davis because I want Javonte Williams to sit. Malik Davis is an undrafted guy who can kind of bounce around between the practice squad and being on the team. So I like his burst. I like his speed. Want to see him out there more often. Prove yourself.
Yeah, let me tell you what I think about Malik Davis. I think he is a true Cinderella story in the NFL. He's a story about perseverance. He was with the Cowboys, I think they first got him in 2022. And he's been cut, and he's been brought back. He's been cut, he's been brought back. I mean, he joined this team this year in preseason. He didn't even go to Oxnard. I mean, that's how much they thought of him. And remember at the time, it was running back by committee. And I was like, oh, hell. We didn't know how great Javonte Williams was going to be. You definitely want to have Javonte Williams do his thing. But you also probably want to see some Phil Maffa.
That's who I added too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know if Jadon Blue has figured it out. When I say figured it out, being consistent in practice to allow him the opportunity to play, because that's the carrot. You can't. I understand Shoddy's philosophy. I totally do, where you got to earn the right to play. We know he's got the talent, but his pass protection was just horrible. It was so inconsistent. It's like he's good on a Thursday, then he's bad on a Wednesday. He's bad on a Wednesday, and he's good on the. It's like it was so inconsistent. And you know he has this reputation of UT fumbling the ball, even though he's got incredible speed. You just can't have that in practice because you don't want to get the quarterback killed. Who else do you want to see?
Yeah, so Phil Maffa is a guy that hasn't even been elevated yet. So
right, 7th round pick.
He hasn't been activated yet.
He's a big boy.
Another person who hasn't been activated that I'm going to add to this list, and I think he should have been activated by now, where the heck is Josh Butler? I mean, he came in last year.
Cornerback.
Really bad knee injury.
He's from West Mesquite, by the way.
Yeah, no, shout out. And look, I understand he had a really bad knee injury. That was awful to see him go down last year, especially since he was kind of one of the more bright spots of Mike Zimmer's defense in the secondary last year. So I loved watching his story, being undrafted, coming in, playing at a high level, and then he goes down with the knee injury. I'm like, okay, well, we'll get him back next year. You know, you already brought Kalen Carson back, who by default was playing a lot of snaps last year because of the injuries. And so he comes back a little bit later. Overshown came back late. I'm like, man, I can't wait for Josh Butler to get back, and I haven't seen him yet.
I know exactly what you're saying. And there's a reason, that's another good reason why you don't want to play. You want to sit Trayvon Diggs. I only say this because they're headed for a divorce. Trayvon doesn't trust the Cowboys. Cowboys don't trust him. And I don't really fault Trayvon for his bad season at all. I really do think that they shot the messenger when he was one of the first ones early on that said Eberflus is not playing the defense. It's plays to our strength. I'm paraphrasing Trayvon. But Trayvon's a quiet guy, and then all of a sudden the injuries happen and everything else. But he knew in the offseason when they fined him $500,000 because the fine print of his contract said you have to do your rehab at the Star. And he did his rehab so much so that he was able to play the first game of the season as opposed to October when they thought he would be ready. That being said, if he sits, you get to see Josh. There's another guy I want to see out there. I want to see Joe Milton turn a backflip. Those that know, you know what I'm talking about. When he scores a touchdown, whether it's a pass or a run, he will turn a backflip. That means I want to see a productive Joe Milton. You got him under contract. He's under a rookie deal. He ain't going nowhere. So I want to see some positive productivity. I don't want to see him messing with his helmet and fumbling the ball like he did the other day on Christmas.
And Joe Milton, he's what they like to call, Chris, a cannon. Man, he's got
the arm.
He's got the arm.
He's got the measurables. What I don't like is when people say anybody with a cannon, oh, he's the next Cam Newton. No.
Next Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Yeah.
When I say Cam Newton and can run too. Cam Newton is a big guy with that big arm, and Aaron Rodgers is not a big guy, but he's got the big arm. They keep saying Cam Newton, Anthony Richardson. He's Cam Newton. No, he's not. Cam Newton won the Heisman. Cam Newton won the national championship. Cam Newton was the number one pick.
Anthony Richardson was a project.
It's a project.
Yeah.
Joe Milton is a project. Joe Milton didn't win the national championship. He didn't win the Heisman. He wasn't the number one overall pick. He didn't, like I said, Cam Newton went on to be MVP of the league, took his team to the Super Bowl, where Denver beat him up. They just, because he's built like a linebacker, the referees just let him get beat up. Cam Newton, to me, is Cam Newton. Stop saying, oh, he's got these Cam Newton. No, he's not. So Joe Milton, let me see you do a backflip. That's what I want to see out of Joe Milton. I want to see him do a backflip, which means he marched the team down the field, they scored a touchdown, and boom, he's in there. Okay, is there anybody else you want to throw in there? Anybody else?
Anybody else?
Okay, if that's all we've got.
I don't think I got anybody.
Well, guess what? The Cowboys play against the New York Giants next weekend. We're going to see who's going to sit and see who we're going to see. At the same time, all of those guys, most of them have that mentality in that culture with Dak Prescott. Hey, it's a privilege to play these games, especially Jadeveon Clowney. I meant to mention I want to see him because even though he's not banged up, like Quentin Williams, he wants to play and he enjoys playing, and he was saying some of the same things Dak was saying. For people who don't know, Jadeveon Clowney says, I play this game, there's money to be made. And also he says he loves playing with the Cowboys. They better re-sign him. When we come back, we're going to talk about these games that's going to be played today. Next on 105.3 The Fan.
Got any gadgets?
cpgambling.org.
This final segment on 105.3 The Fan is brought to you by the Frankels. If you've been injured in a car or truck wreck, call Frankel first. 214-817-3333. With Frankel and Frankel, there's never an out-of-pocket cost. They only get paid when you win. Frankel and Frankel, the go-to car and truck wreck attorneys in Dallas.
Thanks, Dylan. Hey, Eric. Chris Arnold, 105.3 The Fan. Eric is the newest fan phenom. Eric Casares, he's in the house. Tolos, we appreciate you allowing us to ride shotgun with you while you do everything you do on a Sunday. 877-881-1053. That's the Frankel and Frankel Injury Attorneys text line. Eric, I don't know about you, but it just doesn't seem like a Sunday to me. Don't get me wrong, it is Sunday and traffic's. I think it's because Christmas was Thursday, and then Friday, like, kind of a nothing day. Saturday was a nothing day. Today's Sunday. I'm talking about just where you have to, like, a regular work hours. And then, New Year's Eve is Wednesday and New Year's Day is Thursday. I'm confused a little bit. Does it seem like a Sunday to you?
No, not at all. I mean, Christmas Eve felt like a Friday.
Yeah.
And then the next day was a dead day. And then the actual Friday, which was the day after Christmas, felt like a Sunday. And then yesterday, I don't know what. Yesterday was a random day in the week.
It's just random.
I have no idea what day I'm on.
Dylan, does this seem like a Sunday to you?
No. Especially with my work schedule. I work all the Cowboy games. There's no Cowboy game today.
Right.
Because normally I'll be like,
you and
the
Peyton
Cowboy game.
and Kevin.
Kevin, Trevor. But that's not happening today. It was on Thursday, which was on Christmas, but
it's just discombobulated. Everything's discombobulated. And even the Cowboys themselves, the players themselves, the coaches and everybody, they're basically off this weekend. In other words, the media is not up at the Star doing any kind of interviews or preparing for the game. I mean, the whole thing is like there's nothing going on. There's no availability for the media on Monday, which is bizarre. I mean, it's just real weird. And by the way, also last week, because, holidays have begun and all that, the shows on the station sounded kind of weird. By the way, everybody's back tomorrow. Sean and RJ Show, KC Masterpiece, G-Bag Nation, Fan After Dark, boom, 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 in order. It's kind of like normal again. But I'm telling you, it's just been
until
so
Thursday, it gets
weird.
all crazy again.
Yes, that's right. I shouldn't even say Thursday. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Thursday, because Wednesday night, Fan After Dark is going to take it all the way to 11. So as you get ready to go party, New Year's Eve, you can listen to the Fan After Dark getting you ready. And I don't know what that show is going to sound like because those boys get buck wild. They are too fun to listen to on a regular night, let alone a New Year's Eve night. I wonder what's up their sleeves. Meanwhile, we're going to get you ready for these games today. If you're keeping it here and you turn it on, leave it on. We're going to get you ready for the New York Jets and the New England Patriots, followed by the Philadelphia Eagles and the Buffalo Bills. That's heard only on your home of the Cowboys, 105.3 The Fan. But there's a slate of games today that you might want to keep up with. I mentioned the Patriots and the Jets. What's your interest in this one?
My interest is the Patriots fighting for the number one seed. They're obviously going to need Denver to lose next week. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, that's my interest in that game. And got to watch Drake May ball out.
Steelers and Browns.
Steelers and Browns, like I said earlier, Myles Garrett, is going for that sack record. He's
Arlington Martin.
Yeah, only half a sack away, and former A&M Aggie as well.
Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Colts. Jaguars for real?
Jaguars are for real. You can't sleep on them right now. Liam Cohen, if Ben Johnson didn't exist, he would be the coach of the year, in my opinion. So got to watch out for Trevor Lawrence. And honestly, might be a sleeper MVP pick.
And what about is this the last game for Phillip Rivers in his career?
I think it's got to be. I mean,
he's not coming back.
And this was just a little bit of a reunion.
He got a grandkid.
Yeah, he's a grandfather now. A little reunion, and the reason he left the NFL was not because he didn't want to play anymore, but he wanted to go coach his son in high school. Mm-hmm. So that's what he did.
One of his sons, he's got 10 kids, man.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had like 12. So it tells you how much I'm keeping track.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, I think this is going to be a little bit of a reunion.
Saints at the Titans.
Yeah, got to go with the Saints. Tyler Sheck's playing some good football. Kellen Moore not doing too bad, and both fighting for draft picks, but I think the Saints are just playing better football.
Low-key, this might be the game of the day. Seahawks at Panthers.
Yeah, this is honestly a slept-on matchup. 7-point favorite in Seattle's favored, but Carolina can beat anybody. They can play with anybody, and this game has no relevance for them winning the division, but unless the Bucs lose. So they're going to be wanting to play for that, and Seattle's fighting for the 1 seed. I'm taking Seattle, though.
Cardinals at the Bengals. Joe Burrow, is this his last game with the Bengals? No, he's going to be there next year. I was just going off the stuff he was saying, like, he don't know how long he's going to be with the Bengals.
Yeah, no, I mean, and you can make the argument that the Bengals have kind of failed him as an organization, surrounding him with talent. Don't think it's going to be his last game. Would love to talk about the speculation of that, but they light up the scoreboard against bad teams. They're a prolific offense with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I think they win easily here.
3 o'clock game, you got the Giants at the Raiders. Nobody cares about that game, but it's draft pick, right? Number 1 pick?
Yeah, and Raiders are shutting down a lot of players like Brock Bowers. Maybe we'll see the Frisco guy, Ashton Jeanty, get some action. But I think the Giants are just going to win this game.
Eagles and Bills?
I'm taking Philadelphia. Believe it or not, a lot of people think the Bills are going to win this game. It's something telling me that Jalen Hurts is going to have a great game today. I'm taking the Eagles in a slight upset.
And tonight, you got the Bears at the 49ers. The 49ers are low-key good, man. But the Bears are having a hell of a year.
Yeah, despite all the injuries, the 49ers still have a chance to battle for the 1 seed. They got to win this week and beat Seattle next week. Doesn't think it's going to happen. I think the Bears are going to get the 1 seed because they're going to win the next 2 games, and Seattle might lose 1 more game.
And tomorrow on Monday Night Football, you got the Rams and the Falcons.
Yep, taking the Rams off a loss, they're going to be pissed off.
I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting as these last couple of weeks play out. Of course, the Cowboys and the Giants next week. You can hear it only on 105.3 The Fan. You're home with the Cowboys. Also, you're home with the Rangers. The Rangers offseason is going to be more and more interesting as we speak. I want to say again, thanks, Eric, for being here. You are the newest fan phenom. Congratulations. I also want to thank Dylan for being on the Pimp Cup 1s and 2s, holding it down like always. I'm Chris Arnold, and I want to thank all the Tolos as well. There is no us without you. And we can't thank enough for riding shotgun. This is 105.3 The Fan.
Hi there, it's Pete Thompson from the Consumer Team. If you're being told by an HVAC company that you need to replace your home's furnace, pump the brakes and don't get ripped off. Call the On-Time Experts for a free second opinion. They'll tell you the truth and not just try to sell you a furnace you may not need. Their focus is fixing your furnace and getting you warm again. Plus, you'll get a